issues around school governance and how the department and school governance need to do their business. That is the main focus. So therefore, you will not get curriculum issues being spoken there. You're not going to get any curriculum statement and any caps and anything in the bill, because it's not about that, it's about administration. You're not going to get anything around infrastructure. All challenges of infrastructure are captured elsewhere in norms and standards of infrastructure, so they won't be in the bill. It won't be about special schools and inclusive education, because those are captured somewhere in White Paper 6. So what is our focus? Administrative processes only. And I wish that as members of the public, you'll advise the parliamentarians accordingly on the basis of what is in the bill and not what is not in the bill. The reason why there are many changes in the bill, number one, is that in the bill, you'll see a section that talks about grade R. Why are we bringing grade R into the picture? Grade R has not been part of the schooling system. The Department of Social Development has been in charge of that. But now that education has taken over ECD, we've deemed it necessary to introduce grade R into our schooling system so that we can define a school as starting from grade R to 12 and no longer from 1. This is to alleviate even the pressures that parents have, because all grade R children were funded from the pockets of their own parents and not by the department. So we're trying to say, government take over the funding of grade R and employ teachers so that they can be paid by government. So that is the request that we're making, that grade R be included in there. We had challenges around learner attendance. We have challenges about the high dropout rate of children. We have seen it necessary that we include it in the Bella Bill, just the management of learner attendance and how it must be managed by principals, SMTs, and SGBs, including how parents need to get involved should the child no longer attend school. It is in the bill. We're requesting that you look at it as an addition. We're looking at the code of conduct of learners. There has been challenges because every clause that you're trying to look at is based on our experience. And our experience is that the code of conduct that we have in schools do not speak to the character and the nature of our schools themselves. Demographics have changed, culturally, religiously, and all that. There are changes in the school, but the code of conduct have not moved with the time. So we began to put a section there that talks to the code of conduct so that it can begin to respect the cultural diversities that we have, the religious diversities that we have. On top of that, we want to clearly define what misconduct is and how misconduct must be dealt with, especially serious misconduct where there is violence in the school and where there's a lot of abuse by children to other children. And we're beginning to say, SGBs, be guided. These are the steps that you need to take. We don't need to be dealing with code of conduct that looked at the hairstyle of children, and after that, then schools are closed because children are fighting because they are not recognized around those type of issues. We're looking at SASSA Section 12, which allows the department to deal with small and non-viable schools. These are schools that have 1 or 2 teachers, and they have many grades where teachers are not able to cope with the teaching of many subjects and many grades in all that. It is in SASSA, but it was not prescriptive on what to do with those schools, except to say the department can close them. In the bill, we're going to town explaining the steps that the department must take should they wish to merge or close a school. The complaints that we're getting now is that departments, especially districts, are closing and merging these schools willy-nilly without even following the prescribed consultative processes that are in there. So we're putting it in the act so that these processes are done as per law, and that's why you find it in the law. you're going to get interesting things in the Bella Bill around corporal punishment, which define exactly what corporal punishment is, and not just a physical hitting of a child with a stick, but there are other emotional issues that get involved in the ill treatment of children, and we begin to define that in full. We are in Kuruman, a place that is famous for closing schools for over a period of a year because the communities wanted a road to be built. We're beginning to say, as government, we can't allow that type of a thing to happen. If there are people that will block children from attending school, we need to put it in the law so that those people can be dealt with by the law, and put in penalties and put in any other ways of dealing with this type of behavior. We do have school governing bodies that get angry, and the first thing they do is to close the school and not allow children to come in. We would like to criminalize that type of an activity so that children are allowed to go to school on a daily basis without being prevented to do so by adults. That's what you're going to get in there just to deal with these disruptions. We have noted that as we deal with SGB elections, like we would be having SGB elections next year from March, there are different regulations from province to province which do not bring the uniformity on how SGB elections are conducted. So we're beginning to ask Parliament to allow us to have one system on how SGBs are elected in school. As we move on, you will realize that there are challenges around finances of schools. At the moment, when we monitor and look at how finances are used at schools, we do not have much authority to deal with them because SASSA only allows us to get into the finances of schools at the end of the year when schools submit their audited financial statement. And we're saying by the time we receive those audited financial statements in June, it may be too late to discover all the financial mismanagement in there. So we're asking that we look at finances of schools on a quarterly basis, that if there are challenges, we are able to pick them up and resolve them before the end of the year. It has been a challenge, especially in the department where communities are changing, where the nature of schools are changing, but the policies in schools do not change in accordance with those demographics. For example, the languages that are taught in schools are not in line with the 11 languages in the country. We are proposing for home language teaching, and it has become so impossible to teach home language because there are areas where a policy of a school will determine a language. I don't want you to take us wrong. It's not an Africans against anything. In the townships all over the country where they are mixed, you'll find a school for Zulus, you'll find a school for Sutus somewhere, you'll find a school for Tswanas, but when the demographic change and other language groups come in, you still find an SGB that says, this is a Zulu school. There's no way I'll have a Sotho child in here, despite the fact that there are Sotho children that have come into the area. So we're saying when SGBs do their language policies, they need to take care of these changes and the demographics around them and include them in the policy. And when they design those policies, they need to ensure that the policies are in line with what the Constitution prescribed, which is non-discriminatory and which allows for the freedom of association and all that. If that doesn't happen, and a policy such as an admission policy or a language policy violates those, we're asking in the Bella Bill that the HOD needs to intervene with the SGB to allow access to these languages, which are 11. It cannot be right that all the children that are growing now can only speak English and Afrikaans and can't write their own home language, and they can't even talk about in their own home language, when in the true sense, they are in majority in most of those schools. We are also concerned about the high drop rate, like I've indicated before. Some of the reasons is that it's not really that children have dropped out. It could be because children are homeschooled. Now, as government, we acknowledge homeschooling, we acknowledge private schooling, we acknowledge government schooling. All those levels of schooling are accepted according to the Constitution. It's freedom of association and freedom of choice, which we cannot trample upon. But what we're requesting is that if there is a parent who wants to homeschool a child, you have all the rights, you have all the powers, you have all the permission to homeschool your child without any disturbance. All we're asking you is that may we know through registration or information that you are homeschooling your child, that we can account the whereabouts of the child. And we're also not restrictive what curriculum we want to teach. If you look at the Bella Bill, it says choose any curriculum of your choice, choose any religion, choose whatever, teach your child the way you want, but make sure that the curriculum is a recognized curriculum. And we're not saying caps, and we're not saying anything around government curriculum. We're saying any approved, it may be international, it might be whatever. Choose that curriculum, teach your child that whatever you want to teach. But as time goes on, there needs to be somebody outside the department who can vouch that you are teaching your child and the child is receiving education. And the Bella Bill asks for an independent assessor to look at that so that we know the child is receiving education. The other challenge that we have is that normally primary school children are homeschooled, but as soon as they move to secondary, then parents want to bring them into the education system. So if there are no these check and balances, it becomes impossible to even know where to place the child. And I repeat, we're not talking tests, we're not talking examination, we're talking an independent assessor to look at the education system that the child is receiving at home. In the Bella Bill, you're going to find a clause that says, now that schools do serve alcohol, it's not a secret, it's being served during sporting activities, during functions. We're asking that we look at how we can regulate that selling of alcohol. If schools are doing it like they're doing it, how should they do it? Now, it's in the Bella Bill that says, should a school want to continue during their sporting activities, sell alcohol to parents and not children, how must they apply? How will the department deal with that type of an application? It's not a clause that is saying schools must now open shebeens and start selling alcohol. The other one that I want to close with here, it's a section that requires that the minister looks at how we deal with pregnant girls at school. I must indicate it's not a clause that's talking about sexual education or sexuality. It's a clause that is saying girls do come to school being pregnant. And when they arrive at school being pregnant, how must the teachers deal with them? How must they conduct themselves? How must they treat them if they are pregnant? And that is what is in the bill. Anything else, it's not in the bill. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndlebe. We are now going to start with the proceedings. One, there is a lady here with a pink jacket. He's got forms for the people that do not feel comfortable in writing. They can use those forms. Speaking, yes. For the people who are not comfortable with public speaking, they can use those forms to write their input. Two, we are speaking for 3 minutes. When you come to the mic, when the 3 minutes passes, we are going to stop you from speaking. And we are asking you, if you are going to speak, don't fill in the form. If you are filling the form, don't come and speak. We are normally, in all other provinces where we were, we have used English, but you do not have to speak English. You speak a language that you are comfortable with. We do have translators. All these people that are sitting on these chairs, they are translators. They will translate for us. As you can see, we even have a sign language translator. So feel comfortable to use your language. Now I am going to note hands from this side. When you come to the mic, you tell us who you are, your name, and you start by saying you support or you reject the bill, and then you then motivate why. I'm going to start by noting hands from this side today, left. Number one, yes. Yes, sir. You with a navy suit. Number two. Number three. Number four. Number five. Number one can stand before the mic, and the rest will sit on the chairs. Yourself, ma'am? Yes. You with check. You, ma'am? Yes. You looking at the back? Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes, sir, yourself. Right at the back? Yes. The first one, yes, yourself. You, sir? Yes. Right at the back. There is a hand right at the back. Yes. And the one next to it. Ma'am with a mustard jacket. Sir with the two of you, yes. The two of you too, yes. The chairs are supposed to be full now.
Thank you, Program Director. To the Portfolio Committee members, good afternoon, together with all protocol observed. My name is Vuyani Joytes, District Director in the John Taulogaisewe District. I support the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill. Now, the reason for supporting are as follows. In John Taulogaisewe, we've got a serious challenge, especially in terms of attendance of grade R. It's not yet compulsory, and most of the learners, when they move to grade 1, they are not yet ready. In other areas, we don't have even ECD centers where we can prepare these learners for grade R. So it's important that grade R be made compulsory. The other issue is the monitoring of learner attendance by teachers, principals, as well as SGBs. Because again, we've got a challenge in terms of learner transport. It is not reliable. So it's important that that must be closely monitored. The other issue, which of course is also very important, is submission of monthly financial statements by schools. That's very key, so that we are able to monitor as to whether the allocations from the department is used correctly, whether there is value for money. The other issue, which of course must also be looked into, which of course is also part of the bill, is this issue of initiation, especially in hostels and when schools are having sporting activities. We are saying that must be prohibited. The other important thing is the issue of language policy. We have observed that language policy is used to exclude certain sections of communities. But it's important that that must be regulated so that it must not be used as an impediment. Because once that is used as an impediment, we'll see schools just accommodating certain sections of community, not all children of school-going age being accommodated. The other one is the issue of home education. Home education, we are in support, but the challenge that we're having is that in some instances, people who are teaching these children They are not qualified teachers, whereas in ordinary public schools, the expectation is that these teachers must be registered, what says they must be qualified. Because remember that irrespective of the type of education that they're exposed to, we don't want them to be exposed to a substandard education, but they must be exposed to quality education. That's the most important thing. So it's important that that must be regulated. And even the type of curriculum that these children are exposed to, it should be known to all of us so that we should be able to advise. We are not saying we are going to be against, but to advise so that the standards can be at an acceptable level. Thank you very much.
Next.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Rousseau, and I reject the bill, especially clause 37. I have personally been homeschooled my entire life, and I can say with all confidence and all of my heart that homeschooling is the best choice for most students. The dropout rate is too high. The school system is broken, all of that. But personally, I can tell you through experience, school students I've made have personally benefited and grown through homeschooling through the years, better than any school system could have ever helped them or guided them through their learning experience. Personally, I am graduating a year ahead of my class. Next year, I'm going to swim for tikkies and Rokumeiren. I'm starting my own business. Homeschooling really brings out the best in people, so please, clause 37, it is going to ruin the next generation of homeschoolers. Thank you.
Next.
Honourable Chair, esteemed members of the Portfolio Committee, dignitaries and fellow South Africans. I am Dion Rousseau, a dedicated homeschooler, and I am here to voice my firm rejection of clauses 37, 41 and 27 of the Basic Education Laws amended in the Bella Bill. I stand before you today as a very concerned parent and advocate for educational freedom. I am here to voice my formal objection to the Bella Bill that is currently under consideration. As a homeschooling parent, I strongly believe that the bill poses a grave threat to the principles of our parental rights, educational diversity, religious freedom, and overall well-being of our children. Clause 37 proposes to introduce stringent regulations and bureaucratic oversight of our homeschooling families. It aims to impose additional requirements and standards that homeschooling parents must adhere to, potentially limiting their autonomy in providing personalized and flexible education for their children. Clause 41. This clause fails to recognize the acknowledgement and academic achievements and successes of homeschool students. Despite the numerous studies showing that homeschooling students often perform at equal or higher levels compared to the traditional schooling students, Clause 41 dismisses these accomplishments and perpetuates a bias against homeschooling. Then clause 27, this clause infringes upon the vital role of parents' involvement in education. It imposes restrictions and regulations that hinder parents' ability to adequately participate in their child's education, potential undermining the positive impact of parental engagement in the learning process. These clauses collectively pose a threat to the principles of parental rights, educational diversity, religious freedom, and overall well-being of our children being homeschooled. They overlook the benefits and successes of homeschooling, restricting parental self-government, and ignore the importance of students' diversity and individualized instructions. I implore you to consider the provisions of this bill and to recognize the value and successes of homeschooling. Let us work together to ensure that the parents have the freedom to choose the best education path for their children, and that all students, regardless of their chosen method of education, receive the support and respect they deserve. Thank you for your time.
Next.
I am Yvonne Tikani, the Regional Treasurer for SATU in John Taulo Gaetsewe. I support the Bella Bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership, and accountability, transforming education services and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. In particular, I also support the following clauses. Clause 2 of the bill, which seeks to amend Section 3, subsection 1 of the South African Schools Act to provide that school attendance is compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, which will ensure all children are prepared for schooling. Clause 5 of the bill seeks to amend Section 6 of the South African Schools Act to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of a public school and any amendment thereof to the head of department for approval to ensure that schools don't discriminate against other learners on the basis of language. Thank you.
Next.
Good afternoon, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members. My name is Joy Leavesley. I've been a home educating for 18 years, and I've been engaged with the DBE on home education law and policy for the last 9 years. I'm excited that our Parliament is here to join the journey. Welcome. For many reasons, I totally reject the Bella Bill. You've heard hundreds of submissions from home educating families by now, most of which I wholeheartedly support. But today, I hope to open a slightly different view on why I cannot support the Bella Bill. I reject the Bella Bill because it makes no provision for children to be involved in decisions about their own lives. For all that the DBE talk about how valuable and important South African children are, they seem to be of the view that children should be seen but never heard. In assessing the validity of this bill, it has to be tested against South Africa's obligations in terms of international instruments which bind us. Here I will quote from one of them, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Specifically, I will read for you Article 12. Parties shall assure to the child who is capable of forming his or her own views the right, and I'll repeat that, the right to express those views freely in all matters affecting the child. The views of the child being given due weight in accordance with the age and maturity of the child. For this purpose, the child shall in particular be provided the opportunity to be heard, and I'll repeat that, to be heard in any judicial and administrative proceedings affecting the child. Clause 37 does not include the child. It is a shame on the DBE that they have brought this shoddy bill to us, wasting the time of Parliament and the public on something that does not meet the minimum requirement of being valid and in agreement with our existing obligations and legislation. It is for this reason that I withdrew from the Home Education Task Team in Pretoria, because I would not put my name against something that was so basically flawed. So I ask you, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, should you put your names against it either?
Your time is
Thank
up,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Parlementlede. My naam is Chanel Blachlinger en ek verwerp hierdie Bellabil in geheel al. Veral klousule 27, 41 en 37. Godsdienstvryheid moet vryheid vir ouers insluit om hulle kinders volgens die Bybel op te voed en te dissiplineer. Het sy openbare skole, kerkskole of tuisonderrig. Kom ek lees vir julle een vers uit my Bybel uit. Efesiërs 6 vers 4. En vaders, moenie julle kinders so behandel dat hulle opstandig word nie, maar maak hulle groot met tug en vermaning soos in die Here se wil. Geen staat mag wettiglik inmeng met hoe ouers hulle kinders grootmaak of oor hoe kerke en skole hulle opvoed nie. Kinders word nie na die beeld van enige regering of staat gemaak nie, maar volgens die beeld van God. En ek, as 'n onderwyseres, kan ongelukkig geen kind aanmoedig om te gaan vir 'n abortus en dit weg te hou van hulle ouers af nie. Ek myself het geloop met letsels en verwerping nadat ek 2 jaar terug 'n abortus deurgaan het met my seun. En hy is vandag is ek skoon gewas deur die bloed van Jesus Christus en ek is vrygemaak daardeur. So ek verwerp hierdie Bellabil geheel al. Dankie.
We must get a translation.
Members of Parliament, good afternoon. My name is Michelle Lochlinger and I reject the Bella Bill in totality. The freedom of religion must be there for parents, and it must include all children and parents to allow a parent to raise their children according to the Bible and to discipline them as well as they see fit. Whether this might be a public school, a church school, or homeschooling. In the Bible, specifically in Ephesians 6.4, it's a whole Afrikaans section. I'm not going to repeat that with your permission. It says clearly that no government can legally or is allowed legally to interfere with how a parent will raise a child or choices that are left to parents as to where they want to leave these children or how they want to educate them. Children are not being made after a church or after a school or government. They are made after the image of God. And they are being given to children to raise them as God commands. I am a teacher, and I can unfortunately not allow any child that is a religious child or any other form of sexuality to tell them it's fine, you can have an abortion. That's against any Christian principle that I believe in. Myself, 2 years ago, I went through an abortion, but today I stand in front of you with my son. But today I can stand in front of you and I can say that I'm washed clean by the blood of Jesus Christ. I reject the Bella Bill, and I reject specifically clauses 27, 41, and 37.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I can understand that as people, they don't even understand what actually the Bella Bill or the bill is all about. Because this thing, it must be done through the superior logic and the power to persuade. When you stand here and starting by saying, I don't support the bill, and you start to deliberate some of the matters inside the bill, it tells me that you are confused. You don't know what you are talking about. Because the minute when you say you don't support the bill, you must just sit down. What's the need to come and debate about it? Because when you say you don't support the bill, you are totally confused. You must sit down. Because you are telling us that it must be scrapped off, the whole of it. Now, what is it that you are debating on? It is very imperative to debate the bill so that the injustice of the past must be rectified. There are things inside the bill that need to be rectified. So when you are wise enough, you will come here and say you support the bill so that the bill must be taken back to the parliament, and then they will deliberate on the matters which are the national consciousness. They will deliberate on the matters that you are saying we support the bill 1, 2, 3, at least partially. You will tell me that, okay, you understand. And the affected party here are the motive forces of national democratic revolution. And who are the motive forces of national democratic revolution? Blacks in general, Africans in particular. White people always, they don't show remorse. They are clapping hands to each other simply because they came with motive, just to say they don't support the bill. So you must just come and say, I don't support the bill. We don't want to hear you. Sit down. I support the bill, 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day, everybody. My name is Renee. I'm a pastor, and I'm a proud member of ICDP. We reject the Bella Bill. We reject clause 41, 37, and 27. You can never undermine the right of parents and think it is an answer for teenage pregnancies. Who are you as a teacher or a school even to tell my child to have an abortion without me knowing about it? My child is my child, not yours, not anyone else's. If I am the parent in my right mind who takes care of my child, how dare you as a state take my child for abortion in secret? It is a double crime. Any person having sex with a child is committing a crime. Now that crime can be kept secret because someone from the school can send my child for abortion in secret. That is very wrong. It is evil. And you don't tell me that people that is in your policy and that this bill means that the minister can now also make regulations that will teach our children that a boy is not a boy because he's born a boy. Not a boy can be a girl, or a girl can now become a boy. As Christians and Muslims, this is against our faith. How can you as a government force our children to be taught against their beliefs? Thank you very much.
Ek is Monique Pretorius en hiermee my speech. verwerp en staan die hate speech bill teen as gevolg van clausule 27, 37, 40, 41 en 42. Ek is 'n kind van die Here, 'n student wat leer vir 'n pastoor en ek staan op vir Jesus Christus. Hy's die weg, die waarheid en die lewe en geen een gaan sonder die vir hom die hemelse poorte in nie. Hoe gaan ons kinders groot maak as ons nie weet wat reg of verkeerd is nie? So voed jou kind op en stem vir wat reg en verkeerd is. Matteus 19 vers 14, Matteus 19 vers 4 tot 6. En hy antwoord hulle en sê, het julle nie gelees dat hy wat hulle man en vrou gemaak het en gesê het om hierdie rede sal die man sy vader en sy moeder verlaat en by sy vrou bly en hulle twee sal een wees. En wat God by mekaar gevoeg het, mag nie skei nie. Nou ek wil vandag vir jou vra, as hulle so 'n wet wil implementeer, hoe gaan dit gepaard met wat in die Bybel staan? Maar wat in die Bybel staan, is woord. En wat ek ook wil sê vandag, dat as julle hierdie wet implementeer, gaan dit baie egskeidings veroorsaak, wat hartseer is en kommerwekkend. Want dit is teenstrydig met God se woord. En vandag wil ek ook sê, bekeer julle en laat julle doop. Sal die Here dien. En ek, as die jeug van vandag, sal opstaan vir elke kind in hierdie land. Baie dankie. Jesus Christus het julle lief.
Good afternoon, Honourable Chair. My name is Monique Peters, and I'm standing in front of you, and I just want to say that I reject the hate speech bill, especially clauses 27, 37, 40, 41, and 40. I stand in front of you as a child of God. I stand in front of you to say to you that no one will enter the heavens of God if they do not turn to God. I'm a student, and I'm learning, and I'm to be a pastor. In Matthew 19 from verses 4 to 6, it states clearly that a man shall leave his family and join up with a woman. If this bill gets passed, I can tell you this, it will lead to so many divorces. How can that be allowed? This bill and the Bible does not go hand in hand. Anybody that believes in the Bible will not be able to accept this bill. I want you to know that you should be all christened. Turn to God. God is your Savior. Thank you very much. I reject the Bella bill.
No, thanks very much, Chairperson. My name is Aubakwe Sebolai, a teacher by profession and a principal of a school, and the chairperson of SATU, John Taologaitsewe. I am rising here, Chair, to fully support the bill based on the fact that as a teacher myself, I know the challenges confronting schools for learners who have not attended grade R. We are sitting with a situation where about half the learners are not passing through grade R, they go straight to grade 1. So we support the bill to say, let the kids go through grade R before they go to grade 1. But we are also saying the issue of attendance is a critical issue. We are saying give the principals and the teachers the powers to make sure that they monitor learner attendance on time so that they are able to mitigate on time the challenges that are confronting schools with regard to attendance. We are noting, Chair, that the admission policy and the language policy is used for purposes of discrimination. So we are saying before those policies are implemented at school level, let them first be approved at the level of the province or national. They must be approved before they are implemented. So on those grounds, we support the bill. We are saying the finances of the school are being abused. And it will be prudent that quarterly reports be submitted so that as and when we go throughout the year, at least we know what is happening in schools. We can't be seen waiting until the end of the financial year, and then we submit the reports. So reports must be submitted on a quarterly basis. Chair, we are saying sign language is crucial. And we are saying the minister must provide all the resources to make sure that sign language is also used for education purpose. So we support the bill to say it must also be there. Code of conduct of schools are not accommodating the culture, the religion, and even the health of children. So we are saying the code of conduct must be drawn in such a way, Chair, that they accommodate the culture, the tradition, and the religion of the kids. So on those grounds, we support the bill, Chairperson. Chair, the issue of pregnancy must also be accommodated in the management of pregnancy in schools. As we are speaking now, each school is doing as it wants in terms of managing pregnancies in schools, to the extent that in other schools, poor parents are asked to come with their kids on a daily basis for purposes of managing the pregnancy of the kids. We are saying, Chair, homeschooling is supported by ourselves, but we are saying it must be regulated. It cannot be that we continue with homeschooling, but it is not regulated. So we support the bill on those grounds. And we are saying corporal punishment, Chair, including the issue
Your time is up. Yes, your time is up. Next.
Thank you, Chair, for affording me the opportunity. Let me say all protocol observed. Chair, I'm in full support of this bill. I would start my discussions around the issue of homeschooling. It's very true, the research is there. I just forgot to say that my name is Jones Disang. Jones Disang is my name. Jones Disang is my name. And I'm working as Chief Education Specialist in John Taulo District. A research is very clear to say that we do have learners in the system who cannot read and write. And I suspect, Chair, that we do have these learners in the system because of homeschooling. Because you will see when these learners who are doing homeschooling are frustrated, they go to the mainstream and they are contributing to a high failure rate in the mainstream. The other issue that I also want to support in the bill is to say, I'm glad that the minister is proposing that grade R should now be compulsory. In the sense that now, you remember for a learner to can pass grade 12, that learner needs a good foundation. So, and also, I think this will also benefit our practitioners at schools because they are not properly remunerated. I think that if this bill can now become a law, these practitioners will be remunerated accordingly and enjoying all the benefits that are in the Department of Education. As for now, they are just being thanked for the work that they are done. So I think with that, Chair, I must support the bill. The other issue is the issue of the language policy. It's very true that language policy is used in our schools to segregate some people. It is very difficult, more especially to get this language where it is applied. And I'm also saying that the issue of disclosing of finances by the SGB and the educators, I'm also in support of that, so that if you are serving in the SGB, you know exactly your financial status and you are not there to serve your greediness. Chair, The bill continues, I also support the bill with regard to, I think I also support the bill with regard to the, no, I think that is all that I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Next.
Asai. Goeiemôre Chair en al die translators, julle doen 'n baie goeie werk. En dan wil ek sê goeiemôre aan al die reënboognasies citizens van Suid-Afrika, want ek sien almal wil dit 'n rasse kwessie maak. Ek staan vanoggend as 'n voedselprodusent van Suid-Afrika. Ek gee vir die wit, die swart, sit ek kos op die tafel. Ek wil vandag vir julle vra, skep hierdie prent in jou kop. Ek wil begin om te sê, ek verwerp hierdie bil geheel en al. Veral fossiele 27, 37 en 41. Ek as 'n boer sit met vele mense onder my wat saam my werk. Ek as boer alleen is nie daar nie. Ek het mense onder my. Ons almal saam, wit en swart, sit kos op jou tafel. Ek wil vandag vir jou die vraag vra. Kom maak plaasskole toe. Hoe gaan ek en my medewerkers 300 kilos elke dag na 'n dorp toe, na 'n privaat skool toe moet ry om onderrig te ontvang? Hoe gaan dit moontlik wees? Julle kan ons nie eens veiligheid bied op ons plaas nie. Nou wil julle sê ek en my werkers moet elke dag kom inry. Hoe is dit moontlik? Julle kan ons nie eens sekuriteit bied nie. Plaasmoorde is een van die grootste kwessies wat besig is om op te staan in ons land. Julle kan nie eens veiligheid bied nie. Nou moet ek my kind en my werkers se kinders onder julle toesig sit. Waar julle sonder my wete my kind kan stuur vir 'n abortus. Ek moet my kind toestemming gee om 'n pak sigarette te koop. Jy moet 18 wees om sigarette te kan koop. Maar jy wil my kind sonder my wete vat vir 'n abortus. Ek moet vandag toestemming kry om 'n blinde darm uit my kind te laat opereer. Maar jy wil sonder my toestemming om vat vir 'n abortus. Waar lê julle menswaardigheid? Wat gaan aan in ons land? Ja, daar moet iets in ons onderrig gedoen word. Ja, daar moet steun kom. Maar dink bietjie, wat so onmoontlikmaking is julle besig hiermee om my en my werkers en jou kos. Julle is besig om ons voedselprodusente, iemand wat opstaan vir die reënboognasie. Ons staan nie op vir 'n kleur nie, ons staan op vir ons land. En vir ander lande. Julle is besig om onmoontlik te maak vir my en my werkers. Ja, ons het wit werkers en swart werkers. So hou op hierdie rasse kwessie maak. Ek dink vir die man wat saam met my werk, hoe gaan hy bekostig met 'n SASSA of met 'n minimumloon om sy werker in te ry na 'n privaat skool toe? Dis absurd. Laat die staat dan vir ons begin busse gee. Gee vir ons polisiebakkies op die plattelande. Waartoe werk julle hierdie ding? Dink bietjie verder. Kom ons stop om hier 'n rasse kwessie te maak. En kom ons begin bietjie rasioneel
Your
te
time
dink.
is up. Baie dankie. Translation.
Good afternoon, Honourable Chair, members of the community, the translators, you're doing a good job, as well as the lovely Rainbow Nation. I stand in front of you as a food producer today. I feed white, coloured, black, anybody. This is not a race thing for me. I'm a farmer, and I cannot do it alone. I have a whole team behind me, and we work together to feed our wonderful Rainbow Nation. I want to know from you as government, if you want to close a farm school, how am I as a farmer going to get my workers safely and timeously to a school in town? I'm on a farm. You cannot keep us safe on the farm, let alone tell us to take my children or the children, my children and the workers' children into town to a school because you closed the school on the farm. I also want to say that I reject clauses 27, 31 and 47 of this Bella Bill. I don't want to make this a racial issue, because it's not a racial issue. As I said before, I feed colored, white, black, anybody. But I do not understand how my child cannot go and buy a packet of cigarettes if they're not 18 years of age, but they can, without my consent, have an abortion when they're 12 years old. I do not understand that. It surely cannot be right. If they want to have an appendix removed, I have to give them consent until they are the age of 18. How is it possible that they can have an abortion without my consent? Where does the government's loyalty lie? You are making it impossible for us to feed people. As I said, please just stop and make this a race-based thing, because it's not. As I said, I feed everybody. Thank you for your time.
Next.
Thank you very much. My name is Tumelo Chokang. I'm the branch chairperson of SATU. I'm a teacher by profession. I support the bill, provided that one should quote from the books, or the famous quote of from the book of Arts of War, written by Sun Tzu, when he said that he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. It cannot be that we keep quiet around the challenges that we are having, the drop out of schools, the poor performance, and one should keep quiet around that. We cannot keep quiet, continue to keep quiet when other schools are denying admissions to the other learners in this republic. We cannot keep quiet around that. One should stand and say that we do not want to do any remark, but the redress in this country should be respected. We should make sure that the imbalance of the justice of the history of the past should not happen in our time. It is why at some point one will stand and say that we support the amendment, particularly the clause number 2 of the bill that seeks to amend section 3 of 1 of the SAS to provide that schools attendance to be compulsory from grade R to grade 12. We cannot say that a particular sector in the education should be denied or be neglected. The grade R was neglected for a very long time. So that is why I would stand to support the amendment to say that here in this republic, we should see the sector as one sector, should not divide the sector. We really liked the way that the department or the two departments have decided that this grade R should move from your social development. That was a good strategy, because we are trying to build a one sector that will address the needs of our people in this country. Lastly, but not least, clause number 5, I really like it, that seeks to amend the section 6 of SASSA to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy. The language policy, the policy that speaks to the needs of learners, cannot be neglected. We should make sure that all learners are accommodated. Maybe the department is quiet about the disability, but I like the setup of today. I really support the bill. Thank you very much.
Next.
Goeiemôre almal. Die paneel daar, gemeenskap. My naam is Dion Jacobs, 'n trotse lid van die ACDP. Die ACDP reject the bill op grond van clause 41, 37 en 27. Ek werk al 30 jaar as 'n gemeenskap werker in die gemeenskap. Klein skole is deel van die storie van ons plaas en landelike gemeenskappe. Klos 27. Die toemaak van kleinskooltjies is 'n skreeuende skande van die ANC government. Om kleinskole toe te maak, los mense sonder werk, onderwysers en general workers. Ons skool drop-out rate in die Noord-Kaap is die hoogste in die land. Ons kinders het nodig om hulle gemeenskappe by hulle gemeenskappe te bly, solank as moontlik. Kinders pas swaar aan in kosskole, daar is nie genoegsame oorsig nie. Vir 'n regeringsamptenaar om 'n skool toe te maak, sonder om redes te gee, net oor getalle, is diskriminasie. Ons as ACDP reject the bill. Dankie.
All Community Chair. My name is Dion Jacobs, and I'm a very proud member of the ACDP. I reject the bill, especially clauses 41, 37, and 27 of the Bella Bill. I'm proudly ACDP, as I said, and I have been in this community for 30 years. I specifically want to talk about clause 27 and the closing of small schools. It's a disgrace that the ANC want to close small schools. It is no secret that the Northern Cape has the highest dropout in the school system. It is clear that our children should stay within our communities as long as possible. They battle to adapt in hostels if they are sent away. I just want to say that I really think that this bill should be rejected for that reason and that our children should be looked after. Small schools are very, very important to us. Thank you.
Next.
Hi, good day. This is Gwen. Good day, Mrs. Chair. I'm Gwen Pretorius, and I'm against the proposed bill in general, especially clause 27, 37, and 41. As a pastoral counsellor, I serve to help those who are broken and frontal cortex is fully developed. The frontal lobes of the brain are important for your reasoning. How can you then let a child make decisions without the parent's consent? Overall, these matters can lead to irresponsible behavior by curious children. I strongly advise against this, as I, myself, in the past also got involved with the same gender, but I realized more how I was created, and my natural instinct clashed with this unnatural behavior. And I testify here today, as I met Jesus, I knew of my true identity. Was not by a worldly way of thinking, but my true identity is in Christ. Ma'am, sir, you are fully aware where you are sitting, whether you are a man or a woman. How can you allow to confuse children even more? God did not make a mistake by creating you. So in conclusion, I reject this bill in general.
Next.
Okay. Goeiedag meneere, dames en heren. My naam is Piet Andrew. En ek is 'n inwoner hier van Wrenchville. Ek is in die eerste plek hier in die gemeenskap as ek 'n leier van 'n kerkgenootskap, die Immanuel Pinkster Sending gemeente. Ek is 'n pastoor geordyn daar. En ek is 'n trotse boesman. Ek is hier kan ek nie. Daar ek het hier 'n titseltjie verbintenis met 'n wit man. Ek het hier 'n titseltjie verbintenis met 'n swart man. Ek is en ek uit daai oogpunt wil ek sê ek is trots cultural. Ek wil begin deur te sê ek verwerp die bil in sy totaliteit. Reject it. Hier word nou mooi goedjies gegooi oor great R en demographic revolution en al die mooi woordjies. Ek wil my vriende sê, hier staan 'n produk wat nie by die great R begin het nie. Ek het die great R gehad nie. Want hoekom? Dissipline was by die huis toe gepas en by die skool. My agterend het gebrand. My agterend het gebrand. Demographic revolution is 'n mooi woord. Ek wil my vriend met die geel T-shirt sê, is 'n baie mooi woord. Waar pas dit by die education van 'n child? Waar pas dit? Ek, soos ek hier staan, ek is 'n namaspreker. Nama ko ba besita ringwa. Ek is 'n namaspreker. Maar ek het ter wille van education het ek nie my taal abandon. Ek het dit geleer, die Afrikaans wat ek praat, is 'n aangeleerde taal. So, demographic revolution. Ach, come on, man. Ek is by die abortion issue. Mense, ek het ons gesê ek is 'n kerkleier. Die nagevolge van abortus eindig nie daar by jou skool nie. Maar dit is kerk.
Your time is up. Your date is on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and everybody. My name is Pete Andrew. I'm a proud resident of Wrenchville, and I'm also a church leader of the Emmanuel Pentecost Church. I'm a proud Bushman. I'm not a colored. I'm not mixed. I do not have a shred of white in me. I don't have a shred of black in me. I reject this bellable. Come with nice words like great R. Sounds nice, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. But there's something behind it. Me as a child, my backside burned. I was beaten. I want to tell you, my friend in yellow shirt, I don't know where that comes into education. You know, I'm a proud Nama-speaking person. Because of education, I had to learn this Afrikaans. I had to learn it, and today I'm speaking it. Come here with words, demographic revolution. And I want to speak about this issue. And I told you that I'm a church leader. Told you I'm a church leader. So this thing about abortion, we reject this bill. Thank you.
Next.
Goeiemôre, ek is Bram van der Westhuizen en ek wil begin hier te sê ek verwerp hierdie voorgestelde wysigings. Ek wil vir julle eerstens sê dat ek kyk na klousule 4. Hoekom wil hierdie beheerliggame se funksies by hulle wegvat ten opsigte van toelating? Ek wil 'n voorbeeld maak. Hoe kan Kuruman Laerskool se toelatingsvereiste dieselfde wees as Pretoria Girls High? So om eenvormige stel reëls daar te stel is absoluut absurd. Want u diskrimineer onmiddellik teen daardie spesifieke skool wat beslis nie op dieselfde vlak is as die ander nie. Asseblief klousule 8. Geen drank op skole nie. Ek vra u baie mooi daarvoor, want ek het dit al beleef hoe kinders met drank kan mors. Klousule 24, hoekom wil die minister bepaal hoeveel beheerliggaamlede daar moet wees? Weereens, elke skool is uniek. Het gaan my verstand te bowe dat hier 'n stel reëls geplaas word vir goedkeuring, maar ons onderwysstelsel se vlak daal elke jaar. Elke liewe jaar daal ons vlak wat onderwys betref. Gaan kyk hoeveelste lê ons in die wêreld van ons skole. Maar nou wil ons nog 'n stel reëls daar stel om dit nog verder te verswak. Ek verstaan dit nie, ek is eerlik met u. Die taalbeleid wil u reguleer. Oral in ons howe het ons al pak gekry. Het die regering pak gekry oor taalbeleid. Artikel 29.2 van die grondwet sê duidelik, is elkeen se reg om in sy of haar taal onderrig te word. Hoekom wil ons voorskriftelik wees daarvoor? Of het ons weer eksterne motiewe daarbey? Ek sê vir u baie dankie.
Good afternoon, my name is Bram van der Westhuizen, and I want to stand in front of you to begin to say that I reject this bill, especially clauses 4, to begin with. It's all about SGBs. Why do you want to restrict the power of the SGBs, specifically with regard to admission? The primary school in Kuruman and surely one in Pretoria, Afrikaans Meisies Hoërskool, high school, that obviously are two different schools with two different needs. It cannot be the same. Why should the admission policy be the same? Then 8, no alcohol at schools, please. We can't have that. I also want to say about 24. How can you determine that a SGB must be the same again, all the rules the same for all the schools? It cannot be. All these rules cannot be the same for all the schools. So the same with the language policy. How do you want to regulate that? In our own constitution, it states that everyone has the right to receive education in his or her mother tongue or language of choice. Why do you want to dictate all these things? As I said, I just want to say I reject the bill.
Next.
Groet u in die mooi naam van Jesus Christus. Ek is Roy Strauss, ek is 'n lektor en ek verwerp hierdie bil as geheel en ook klousule 27, 37 en 41. Hierdie regering dink ons is paddas wat jy in 'n kookpot sit en stadig warm maak tot jy dood is. Hulle bring wette in en hulle spoel die mense se koppe. Jy kan hoor dat Christene tot hulle leuns al glo. Julle gaan voor God staan oor hierdie leuns van julle wat julle so lieg en vanoggend die man wat dit moet opsom sitting is nie neutraal nie, maar hy werk saam met die mense om hierdie wet in te kry. Julle is totaal van die pad af. Julle moet by God uitkom. Julle het Jesus uit die grondwet uitgehaal. Nou wil julle ons moet ons kinders by julle toe vertrou. Nooit in my lewe nie. Julle kan nie eers 'n pothol regmaak nie. Julle kan nie eers die elektrisiteit aanhou nie. Hoe wil julle na ons kinders omsien en die korrupsie? Ek is bang my kind se kosblik word gesteel pouse. Ek kan julle nie vertrou nie, beslis nie. Nie 'n klomp diewe nie. En ek sê dit reguit want die wet elke aand op die nuus. Nog geld gesteel. Arme kinders kan nie eers sakgeld skool toe vat nie, want by die snoepie sal hulle geld gesteel word. Dan 'n 12-jarige kind kan deur 'n onderwyser gesê word. Jy kan gaan vir aborsie. Aborsie is moord. Tans word 650 babas elke dag vermoor in hospitale. En kyk hoe plak die Nigerians ook sommer goed op en vermoor kinders. Maar julle doen niks daarin nie, want julle vreet, julle lekker dik elke dag aan julle tafels. Die ANC, julle gaan verloor hierdie keer. Julle gaan dit sien in die naam van die Here. Julle sê ons mag geen lyfstraf gee nie. Maar julle maak kinders in die ma se maag dood. Klomp moordenaars man. Dit is wat julle is. En ek sê vandag, ek gee kos vir 240,000 swart mense elke maand. Gee ek pap. Maar dan kom staan hier mense op wat wil sê ons is rasiste. Maar ons gee vir hulle pap, omdat die regering te sleg is, om vir die mense kos te gee. Kom kyk ons meele, wat ons opgesit het, vir swart mense man. Ek is die witie, ek is die swartie, ek is rooi, julle sien dit seker. Maar oké, laaste, ek wil net laaste sê, ek ondersteun nie hierdie duiwelse wet nie. En elke Christen wat dit ondersteun, God gaan met jou afreken. Julle moet by die Here uitkom. En dan staan julle sit so kop onderste bo, God gaan met julle besig raak. Julle het net nog 20, 30 jaar op die aarde, dan is dit ewig daarbo. Wat het julle met julle baba moorde gedoen? 29 Oktober, DA, jy en die ANC, 1996, het julle dit ingestem. Julle is skuldig aan baba moord. Dankie.
Translation. The box is.
Good afternoon, Honourable Chair. I am Royes Strauss. I'm standing in front of you as a lecturer. I'm a member of the community, and I just want to say to you that you totally missed the plot. You totally way off. You don't know what you are doing. You think we are frogs, that you can cook in hot water, and that we will not know any better. You cannot even fix a pothole. You can't give us electricity. You are thieves. You're thieves. You are stealing my child's food when they go to school. I can't even send them to school with pocket money. That could be stolen. 650 babies are being murdered in hospitals. You do nothing. You are murderers. You are thieves. Every night I watch the news and I see how more and more money are being stolen. It's just give money, but nothing gets done with it. I feed 240 black people. I feed them. I give them pop. I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm Royes. I'm red, man. I'm red. I'm not supposed, and I will not support this demonic act. For 20 to 30 years, you will be on this earth, and then you have to go to God and explain to Him what you have done. The 29th of October, 1996, you voted in this bill. It's horrible. It's terrible. I reject the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Goeiemôre. Ek is pastoor Wally Grobler en ek verwerp die Bellabil in geheel. Spesifiek Lucile 27, 37 en 41. Ek wil eers begin deur te vra wat het geword van ons land? Waarom raak ons skynheilig deur te open met skriflesing, deur te open met gebed, maar dan agteraf is hierdie Bellabil als behalwe geestelik. Die dag wat die Bellabil ingestel word, is die dag wat ons nooit weer ons mense of kinders mag help nie. Geagte voorsitter, die Bellabil verbied dit in alle moontlike maniere vir ons as gemeenskap, pastore en mense wat omgee vir ons land om mekaar te help en probleme op te los in skole en in ons gemeenskap, maar inteendeel skep dit meer probleme. Die Bellabil neem alle veiligheid wat vir ons kinders beloof word in skole, neem dit alle veiligheid heeltemal weg, want byvoorbeeld enige ou wat homself identifiseer dan as 'n dame of 'n jonger dame kan net by enige badkamer instap om 'n badkamer te gaan gebruik, selfs terselfdertyd wat 'n jong dame besig is om daardie badkamer te gebruik. Hierdie selfde gaan outomaties maak dat verkrachtings optel, molesterings optel, verkrachtings van onderwysers teenoor studente gaan optel, en dan daai selfde onderwyser wat skuldig is hieraan, kan dan die kind raadpleeg om 'n abortus te gaan pleeg. Dit maak glad nie vir my sin nie. Buiten die abortus ook wat optel, buiten agterstraat aborsies optel, het ons nog nie eers begin praat oor die nagevolge wat die aborsies het. En as ook saam met die nagevolge van aborsies, die trauma wat die kinders mee sit nie, maar ons gaan hulle nie kan help nie, want ons mag nie dan sê, ons mag dan nie die trauma daaraan op die einde van die dag help nie. Geagte voorsitter, ek wil graag vra dat ons eerder Spreuke 24 vanaf vers 11 en 12 sal begin implementeer in ons land en sal begin uitroep vir die mense en ons kinders wat op pad slagpale toe is, sonder dat hulle besig is om dit te besef. Laat ons land se wette begin om die naam van Jesus te verheerlik. Baie dankie.
Good afternoon. I'm a pastor. My name is Wally Grobler, and I reject clauses 37, 27, and 41. I just want to say this is very hypocritical of you to open with prayer and praise and song whilst this is going on. I want to say I reject the bill, specifically those three causes. As a pastor and as people who care in this community, I can just say that this bill will remove all safety from children, especially if you identify as a young lady and you go to a bathroom. Then this bill will allow anybody else, whilst that lady is using the bathroom, to also enter it. I can just say that I can see rape increasing at universities, students, everywhere. Now, this poor child, whoever got raped, now also have no consent by whoever raped them to have an abortion. I just don't see the sense in all this. What about the trauma after the abortion? Who is now going to listen to this poor child and offer some consoling and some advice? You are not allowed to do that because this bill takes that right also away from you. If I quote from Proverbs 24, it is clear that I think that the laws of the government should be aligned with the Bible and with God. I thank you.
I'm coming to this side. I'm noting hands on this side. And as I'm, okay. I'm noting hands on this side. 1 minute. You can come. 2, 3, 4, ma'am. No. Ma'am, you, yes. Yes. 5. Yes. 6 with a red jacket. White jacket behind. You, the one that, yes. You say, yes. The yellow, yes. The red jacket. And you, yes. Yes. Do we have chairs? Right at the back next to the chairs, yes, yourself. Ma'am, looking at the back, yes. Do we still have chairs? Full, okay. I'm gonna come again.
Start, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to address the committee this afternoon.
Let's listen to one another, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to address the meeting this afternoon. My name is Michael Barker. I'm the Provincial Manager of FEDSAS in the Northern Cape. FEDSAS is the Federation of School Governing Bodies in South Africa. It's the largest and most active school governing body organization in the country. We have a comprehensive operational footprint in all 9 provinces. As an organization, we partially support the bill, supporting some components, rejecting others, and have some additional proposals. These have been served and recorded in Parliament. This afternoon, a lot of issues of this bill has been repeated. Therefore, I would just like to emphasize one aspect of the bill, referring to the school governing body's powers concerning procurement. This proposed amendment regarding central procurement, where the department will centrally procure LTSM for schools, is problematic for the following reasons. It seeks to enable the HOD to withdraw the functions of SGBs to purchase textbooks, teaching material, or equipment of schools. Given certain provincial departments' incapability to deliver books to schools, there is concern that the provincial department will not have the capacity to deliver quality material on time. We reject the proposed amendment in Clause 16 for several reasons. Certain schools, such as Elson schools, the special schools, are better informed to determine and provide the material needed for the specific learners in their schools. Section 21 allows governing bodies to obtain allocated functions, which includes at Section 21(1)(c) to purchase textbooks, educational materials, or equipment for the school. Should an SGB not fulfill this function with the necessary diligence, their functions can be withdrawn by the department. We refer to Section 22 and 25 of the Schools Act, for example. Therefore, this amendment is unnecessary.
Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your Honour, committee members and fellow South Africans, my name is Vanda Rousseau and I am the co-founder of the Northern Cape Home Education Association. As this association has been very verbal against the Bella Bill since the very beginning, and that was in 2017 already. We have tried many times to communicate with officials, but we still to this day in the Northern Cape do not have a joint liaison committee. Please lend me your ear for a few minutes and I will try to help you understand why we feel so strongly about this bill. Kids are born inquisitive. People ask why are they not learning in school? Because we use inquisitiveness as the backbone of their education, and we teach them what they want to know and what they need to know. They remain interested in learning. Is this not the main objective behind education in the modern society? In a rapidly changing workplace, you will know that upskilling and lifelong learner should be no foreign terms. There are 2 reasons why I believe home education, especially in the Northern Cape, cannot work as a set curriculum like CAPS. Parents are not teachers, we all agree. Home educating material provide both what we need to teach them and how we need to teach them. CAPS has very limited subjects, and it is and much of them are grouped together to work in an institution. The home is not an institution. Real life happens at home, and the home education programs, they give us the opportunity to be flexible when a mother falls ill or a child has to be out of school for practicing sports. Our province, as you might have seen, is by far the poorest province in our country, and most kids are home educated because parents do not have the funds to put them in hostels and travel far to fetch them on weekends or holidays. Any regulation or fees payable is literally taking food off many tables. And I strongly suggest that it is then very clear to me that SAYA did not do any research into clause 37 at all, and I strongly suggest that this be re-evaluated. As an educator in heart and soul, I want to leave you with this thought. Please investigate the CAPS curriculum. See how outdated this way of education has become. We live in a time where we need the future of our country.
Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson, for the time given to me. And let me acknowledge the presence of the all parliamentary members here. I'm standing in front of everyone here to support the bill and in totality. I'm Mr. Apani, and then I'm from the COSA SGB. We are representing the SGBs and parents in particular in the public schools. So I want to emphasize something here. We are in June, and the very same month of this June, it reminds us of 1976 history, which took part in Soweto. I believe that it is time where our people can see that our department want to bring changes, want to make sure that what people fought in 1976 come to action now. People died in 1976, dying for the education which was imposed to them. People died in 1976, died for Bantu education which was imposed to them. Then we have a very democratic department, democratic parliament, which allows us to take part, which allows us to voice our suggestions. We were not involved in Bantu education to bring into educational system in 1976. Use this time to politicize or to show that we have power, our party has power or whatever. We are given time to look at the bill and rectify where it's possible. Then now there is a document here, and this document is misleading people, this document. Because even if you can see, we are here for basic education, Bella bill, but it says abortion bill. Do you have what you call an abortion bill here?
Your 3 minutes is up.
People, let us be very careful.
3 minutes is up. Thank you.
Tumela, leina la ka ke Ipile Makai. I'm from Camden Village, a deep rural area. Se ke tla bua Setswana gore I just want to express myself, so I'm going to speak Setswana. At least we have the translator here. Ke support a bill. The Bella bill, I'm supporting it. Ke tlile go ya straight ke go ele ya eleng gore it's a issue now ya the abortion. It's not necessary gore learners must terminate their pregnancy. Once I went to 2015, I went to China. I just give you my background. I went to China. When I got to China, I never see a pregnancy, a teenage pregnancy there. Bana ba golela go bona bana. The reason ngwana yo o bona ngwana ko sekolo maybe a sena mmagwe kwa ngwana o tshwanetse gore e nne motsadi o heletsa a dropa sekolo gore a tsamaye go godisa ngwana so re heletsa re sena bana ba ba rutegileng because I have to drop out the school and then go to raise my kids. Abortion is not necessary to kill. It's not gore wa bolaya. You are terminating. When you are terminating, it's not you are doing abortion. You just terminate the fetus e leng gore mo moeng ga go se develop. So you are terminating the pregnancy. You are not aborting the pregnancy. It's what the bill want maybe go e batla gore bolelela. So ke nagana gore ha ngwana le ko sekolo a focus ko sekolong a dire thuto tsa sekolo gore e nne motho e leng gore o botlhokwa mo botshelong a bone ngwana go mo godisa re hokotse di street kids e leng gore di mo South Africa tsa batho ba bantsho. Se sengwe se ke tla se bulang se ke tla se tsenyang I have the inputs se ke batlang di tsene mo Bella bill. Ke na le inputs e nngwe ke tla e buang ya ke nagana gore dikolo tsa rona ga dina di-abet school. If Billy ka indicator gore each sekolo sengwe le sengwe se ne le abet school e leng gore ya operator every day ko sekolong because of ko sekolong tshwanetse gore batho ba di-principal ntho bana ba under ba the old age bana ba referele ko di-abet. Most of the school ga dina di-abet se leng gore di a operator on daily basis. Ke batla gore mo billing ba emphasize gore di-abet school must di neteng ko di sekolong. Engwe ke tla etsenya mo Bella bill ke ya di SGB. Most of the SGB ba bereka ko sekolo almost every day di SGB di a bereka e se fika re motho wa go thaogela a peya. Ke nagana gore mo billing go ne le tlote ka tsenang gore at least di SGB ba ne le stipend se leng gore ba ka se kry-a ha ba ntse ba dira ko ba bereka ko dikolong because batho bao ba modimo ba bereka at least department e tsenye e ba ne stipend nyana.
Re a leboga mma 3 minutes ya gago e fedile. Translation.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Ipileng Makai. I'm from one of the villages, which is a very deep rural area. And then I want to speak Setswana here because I want to clearly express myself, especially as I can see that we have a body of interpreters and translators here present. But I want to kick off by saying that I do support the bill, the Bella bill. So one of the other things, straight into the issue, the matter of abortion, I want us to be very clear of one thing. The fact is that we are not necessarily killing when abortion is being induced, but we are terminating. You know, when I went to China in the year 2015, I have never come across a pregnant teen or teenager in that particular place. Now, what is happening in our country is that we have a child who comes to give birth to a child, and what happens here is that for the fact that now they must actually raise the children, those are the reasons that actually contribute to a huge amount of dropout from school because they have to be mothers and actually raise these children. But now, the bill doesn't say that we must kill, or it doesn't encourage killing, it is encouraging terminating so that these young ones can actually focus if they have to. But at the same time, if they don't necessarily have to terminate any pregnancy, they can be focused, they can grow up to be well-rounded adults in the society who have been able to raise those children very well. So one of the inputs that I want to bring about is also the matter of ABET schools. I wish the bill can actually be amended to say that each and every school must have ABET schools so that the old age people or older people or senior citizens can actually have an opportunity to learn. And also, when we look at the matter of SGBs, the SGBs are working hard daily. Can we have a clause in the bill, please, that actually contributes to the fact that they must receive some stipend because they actually work tooth and nail to be able to execute their work? Thank you, Chair.
Goedemiddag. Goeiedag. Dumelang. Good afternoon. I am Khaledi Matlala, the Regional Secretary of SADU in Jontalo Haitsewe. So as I speak on behalf of SADU, 1,600 members. So it must be recorded as such to say 1,600 members of SADU in Jontalo Haitsewe have spoken. And we support the bill. And I'm also going to speak as a principal of a primary school because the bill speaks to us direct. And as a school of such an intermediate, we also support the bill because we understand the challenges that we are facing on a daily basis. And I want to urge all the parents who are here to say this bill speaks to yourself. And I don't understand if you don't support because, especially those who are in Katu, you come to us to complain that your children are not taken in a high school. We only have one high school in Katu that doesn't take the children from my school. And because of the issue of language policy or admission policy. So this is the time that we must speak about this thing so that we influence the policy so that our children should be taken in the particular high school. So I'm urging the parents to come and support this bill because we are having this challenge in Katu. If you can't, then you must just keep quiet forever. So we are saying, as teachers, we understand the challenge of learners who are going to grade R without attending going to grade 1 without attending grade R. And the very same parent will come to us to say our children cannot read and write in a mainstream situation. It is because they did not follow the formal education in grade R. So we are supporting the clause that amends section that speaks to the grade R to be compulsory. So we further say we support the clause that speaks to the section that amends the drugs and alcohol in preschool premises to say they must be abolished. Because we are noting that there are schools which are having liquor inside the campuses, and they know that the act is silent on that. So we are saying a SADU 1,600 members in Jontalo Hautsewe in support of the bill. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone. My name is Stella Ryan, and I'm a resident of Wrenchville. I want to begin by saying that I reject this bill in a whole, with its clauses, and also for the following reasons. This bill has no regulation in place to solve real issues. Real issues which seems to the department as not matters of importance. It does not cover ways to the prevention or the implementation of these issues. I want to talk about the dropouts because nothing has been set in place to accommodate dropout learners while the unemployment rate is so high. And most of the institutions, they require people with grade 12. And most of the dropouts is learners who drop out of school before they reach grade 12. My second one is shortages of teachers. it affects the learners. Temporary teachers has been used in most of the schools. Teachers which are actually there, people who are actually there only to take care of the learners for a certain time, and they have no background or qualifications on teaching. And then we've got the shortage of classrooms. We still have pupils, learners who must be teach under a tree because there's a shortage of classrooms. Then the safety of our children at school. The bill does not cover safe infrastructure at schools. Schools still make use of pit toilets, and it is a health risk. And as we have seen in the past, there have been many deaths in this pit toilet issues. So it's a risk to learners. That's why I see the bill, I see it after the sessions, this bill will become a law. And I see this law as a document which is prescribed to all of us, communities in the whole, institutions, on what we must do and what we can do and what we don't must do. So in the whole, I reject this bill. Thank you.
Next.
Dumelang. O bua mo yo ke go itsimang Juliet Magabanyane go tswa ko Tshukudung, a very rural place. I'm a widow of 2 children. Ke tlile go bua ha ke amogela bill ye 100%. Ntle le dilo dingwe tse ke sa di khotsogaleleng. Mokgwa o dirisiwang go amogela bana kwa dikolong. Re sentse re itemogela kgatelelo e ntsi thata, especially mo di private school. Ngwana gago ga ka tsewa ha sina a sibling ko sekolong sewa. Ngwana gago ga ka tsewa ha sa dire Afrikaans language. Sa bobedi ga o na le ngwana a sa tsene o na le ngwana o sina ngwana mo sekolong sewa, ba sheba gore o dula bokgakala bo bokae, o tsewa ngwana gago o tsewa ga o dula mo toropong. Ke ba ke nnile le maitemogelo a wa gore ngwana ke a ba feletsa a tswile mo kurumane a tsena ko Vryburg. Sa bobedi se ke nang le ngongora ka shone, ke na le ngongora mabapi le ka mokgwa o ke boneng gote go letlelelwe bojalwa ko dikolong. Ba gaetsho ra shotlega, matitšhere ba safara, daga illegalizitswe. Ngwana ko di primary bana ba tsuba daga. Ga ngwana yo o mo itlhela ka daga yo a tsuba, ga go bulwa kgetse motho yo o rekiseditseng ngwana yo wa matekwane go khoto wa ema wa bua re e mo molaong. Lebele re mapolisi ga a bereke, o dirile tiro ya gagwe, o tshwere motho yole ka matekwane yao, mara go khoto ba re illegalized. A re naganeng dilo tse dingwe ha ba ntitšhere ba sokola ka bana ba ba gogang ko sekolong, what about bojalwa? Gwa go diragalang ko sekolong no yana bana ga ba sa tlhole ba laolega. Ha ngwana o bua le ene go bolla ka di rights tsa gagwe, before le dira di rights consultant batsadi ba gaetsho ra shotlega ke bana ba re shotla. Homeschooling, this homeschooling e tshwantse le bontshe gore go sentse go na le bosemorahi bo e leng gore ha o ruta bana ba le ba tsena kwa ga se ba letlelele gore ba batla go kopana le rona batho ba. Why bana ba rona go na le di private school tse re isitseng bana go go tsone ba kopana le bana ba bang, mara ngwana yo le ha tsena ko sekolong yole a dula go ga bone, o dula kwa o shebile dikgomo ka nako e itseng lena la amaka gore ngwana o pasitse wa matricing wa go fetsa go a dutse kwa ga ba tsena kwa ba go feletsa ngwana ga go rutilwe ke motho wa standard 3. Why ba sa register dikolo tsewa? Ga rena problem ka tsone, they must be registered. And my point again, when it comes to your pregnancy, motsadi o mongwe le o mongwe a re godisitswe ke batsadi. Why we didn't get pregnancy? Re reetsa batsadi ba rona because re ne re itewa go dikolong, re ne re ha o sa dire sentle o no itewa. This thing ya gore re tle go dula mo re senya nako ya gore na I'm a pastor, I'm a what, even the devil started as an angel. So when it happened?
Huh?
Yes.
Your 3 minutes is up. Thank you very much. 3 minutes out, Fedile Magalebo. Translation.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Huitimang Mahabanyane. I am from a village called Tukudung. This is a very rural area. And I'm standing here before you as a widow of 2 kids. But I would like to kick off by saying that I do support 100% the Bella Bill. And then, except of course, 1 or 2 things that I am not very satisfied with. One of those things is the method of admission when it comes to admitting our children into their schools. I find that there is a lot of oppression when it comes to this, especially when we want to have them admitted into some of the private schools. Now, our children can never be admitted into this form of a school if they don't have a sibling who's already attending there, or maybe if they who's already attending there or learning there already, or maybe if the child is not going to be doing Afrikaans, so they are actually refused entry into this type of form of school. And another problem actually that contributes to that as well, it goes with where you live. That is also a contributory factor as to whether you will be accepted into those or not. And then this is an experience that I had myself. My child had to be moved from Kuruman to go and attend the school at Vryburg under these reasons. And we've got the biggest problem here about the alcohol that has been alluded to in the bill, that they will allow alcohol. I don't know what are we going to do with this, Chair, because already we are struggling with the smoking of dacha of the younger generation of students in the school. They are very much uncontrollable. So now already then, if we are introducing alcohol, what are we going to do? Because sometimes we find that kids are being fed drugs by maybe the older ones, and they get caught with these drugs, and the very one who may have fed them these drugs will stand up and actually put a blame on them. We are struggling a lot, and these are some of the problems that we had to deal with. Today, children are very difficult to control. You can only imagine what we're going to be dealing with when it comes to allowing alcohol in the school. So I really want to make a statement to say that homeschooling is very discriminative. And we've got so many private schools in the area, but the problem is that we can't get our children there. Right now, there may be many more of the problems that we can mention, pregnancy, etc. But we need to keep in mind the fact that we all have been taught by mothers, and these kids, when they do become mothers, they can be able to accomplish the very same thing as well. So we need to have an objective, to be very objective when you are looking at the bill and its main objective. Thank you, Chair.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. My name is Princess Lata, and I'm a prophet, a founder of a church, a leader, and a community server. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. How do we allow abortions at schools? Why don't we teach our young ones on how to behave on this matter? Or how about we bring up a solution for the teenage pregnancies at schools? We are now saying yes to the selling of the alcohols at schools or during certain activities of schools. But then again, we see ourselves fighting drugs at schools. Police are being called at schools because children are fighting their teachers. Teachers who are supposed to be their leaders, who are supposed to be teaching them, but against they are fighting each other. So as South Africans, where are we going? Irrespective of me being a Christian, but according to how we have been raised as Africans, as South Africans. If I teach my daughter, this is the way forward, this is how we do things, this is how we go about things, but then the kid go to school where she or he is supposed to get a proper education, but then the parliament or the government or some system is now misleading the child. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and call unto my name, I, the Lord, I will hear them, and I shall heal their land. We are busy fighting drugs. But again, when we say yes to the alcohol at schools, we have questions that we are asking ourselves because of the drugs that we are fighting against. Do we have a matter or a say or something to do with this drug selling at schools and in our communities? I am saying no to this bill because it's a corruption and it corrupts myself as a mother, as a leader of the community, and it corrupts my child and somebody that I am busy mentoring and somebody that I'm busy teaching and trying to amend, because these are the leaders of our community, the future leaders of this community. Why don't we come up with a solution of how to prevent these pregnancies? Why don't we come up with the solutions of how to bring crime less at schools? Because teachers are smoking, teachers are taking drugs together.
Thank you very much. Your 3 minutes is up.
Chairperson, I am Michelle Chamberlain, and it's not up to men to decide when a child gets aborted. If when a child is aborted, if we support the bill and means that we all will regret when a child gets aborted. We will all be murderers, blessed before God. Thank you very much. God loves you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members. The preamble of the South African Constitution says, South Africa belongs to all who live in it. The Freedom Charter confirms that it belongs to all of us. I think I must start by commending the DBE. I'm Sydney Stander, I'm a teacher. I think I must start by commending the DBE for the courage and the bravery of bringing these consolidations to an existing policy. It is quite clear that you have touched the nerve. And you have touched the nerve because you are part of a state that is an interventionist state that must act on behalf of the majority of people who are poor, who are vulnerable, and who are largely Black. And I as an individual, as a South African, wholly support the bill because the bill is a fundamental shift. It's a fundamental shift and consolidation of policy.
Order.
To protect the
Order.
vulnerable.
Can we be quiet and listen to one another? Sorry, sir, to disturb you, but there's a lot of noise and we can't really hear what you're saying. Can we be orderly, and those movements at the back, can you be seated there, please? Thank you very much. You can continue.
My time by 1 minute. I'm saying the bill is a fundamental policy shift and consolidation because It aims to protect the vulnerable in society. I'm going to make an example because I think the bill is misconstrued as it relates to the issue of pregnancy. The bill suggests the consolidation of the child pregnancy in line with the Constitution, which guarantees the rights of the child. Pregnancy, we're talking in context. We know that our learners get pregnant under different conditions and context. And it is that context that becomes important. There is no way in the DBE policy positions where termination is done solely with the child at the exclusion of the environment of the child, including the parents. There is no way in policy where you find that. So we must avoid misconstruing what the policy seeks to achieve, to attain political points, because this is not a political platform, it's a consultation. But I also want to speak to the issue of the formalization of the Great R, and also commend the DBE because that policy shift is so fundamental in that the majority of our children whose parents are black, whose parents are poor, whose parents are the working class, don't have the means to get their kids into Great R institutions. And here we have a state that says, let's intervene on behalf of the majority of our children so that we better their chances of succeeding as they prolong along the school education. And therefore, I really support the bill, and I would urge all South Africans to stand behind the bill because it is a progressive bill. It is a bill that promotes or that guarantees the rights of those who are vulnerable in our societies. Thank you, Chair.
E re ke tse tšhono tšhe ke go leboge nna ke nna mosimane o tsile musi mme ba mpitse hela ba ba nkitseng ba re ke Musi tota ke tla e gata di-conse hela ka gore ba e latjutswe ba le bantsi ba bantse ba bua gape le ga me ntlha ka ya ntlha hela ke gore re newa metsotso hela e mennyane ga go di 3 minutes for consultation ene dipampiri tse di hatse re di kry-e ha re goroga ha mo nakong e ke dutseng ha ke a go tsaya nako e kae gore ke mo biling ewa gore ke kgone gore ha ke ntsha dintlha ka botlalo ntlha ka bobedi ke gore ha re bidiwa for dipuisano tse re di utlwa go le bofreitaga ga di advertisiwe gore re di utlwe ka nako gore go na le bili e tlang e re tla tshwana ke gore ke go buisana ka yone re nne le yone re e kry-e mo di-public offices re tla go e kry-a gone ha lo re e balla ha dianong ga re go participate meaningfully mo biling e ra go e komela le ha le re gata di-conse re bua ka se re batlang go se bua ntlha e ke batlang go e addressa ya ntlha ke gore e ke e bone mo biling e language puo e re dirisang ko sekolong go botlhokwa gore tshwantse re itlhophele gore a ke batla go dira metsho ya me ka Setswana kgotsa ke batla go dira ka Afrikaans kgotsa ke batla go dira ka English re se ka ra nna le limit ya gore o ka tshwana ke gore o dire in English yela or in Afrikaans or in a re rutiwe ka puo tsa rona tse re di tlhaloganya gore re kgone go pasa sentle ntlha ka bobedi ke gore tshireletso ya bana mo dikolong ga ke utlwe gatisiwa thata mo biling tshireletso ya matitšhere mo dikolong ga ke bone gatisiwa thata mo biling ra bona mo di-social media dintwa tsa bana dintwa tsa matitšhere makgakga a bana a ko godimo re rata re sa rate makgakga a bana a ko godimo ka gore di-rights tsa bone ba neilwe tse dintsi thata mo dikolong yaanong re tla tshwanela ke gore ntlha tse ba re di lebele gore tshireletso ya bana le matitšhere mo dikolong a e maleba ntlha engwe ke ntlha ya nnotagi re letlelela ja nnotagi mo dikolong re nna le mathata a kana-kana ga ra tshwanela gore re santse re suggesta mo dibiling gore dinnotagi di rekisiwe ko dikolong ga lo le ko palamenteng le o tla ka dintlha tse kore mo ngwageng tse mo go tsone o bore nnotagi e rekisiwe ko sekolong ra go kgalemela jang bana ba
nyantsha nnotagi ela mo teng bagaetsho re e beileng ko thoko jaanong ga re ya ko go tsa abortion bagaetsho a re etseng hela jaaka constitution e re nna gore a molo mongwe a itlhophele gore a o batla go e dira or ga a batle go e dira mme se se botlhokwa ke gore a re ruteng bana gore ba ngokologe dilo tse di tla ba isang gore di ba ise ko abortioneng ke dilo tse di botlhokwa tsa gore ga re dira dibili tse re be re nna le se re goreng sa go ruta bana gore o ele tlhoko ntlhatse le tse gore o se ka itlhagale mme se se botlhokwa ke gore o kgone go hetsa grade 12 ya gago
No,
ke a e tswala
No, e tswalegile 3 minutes e fedile. Yeah, mara ke kopa ra before o tswa mo seraleng, before o tswa ga mo seraleng, ke kopa o itlhalose gore a yone wa e thekga kgotsa ga o e thekge kgotsa o maphata a mabedi.
no ba nikile mike mma rona ke santse ke re ke tla tsena ga wa ka ntlhabogela bili ke a e support-a mma ka botlalo
Ke a leboha. Translation.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Musimane Utsile Musi, and I'm widely known as Sir Musi. Firstly, I want to say that we were not given enough time to read the bill so that we can put our suggestion forward properly. Again, when called for hearings, we only hear on Fridays about the hearings, rather than to find the documents in public places. First, regarding the bill, it is important for students to choose their medium of instructions at school so that they can understand, because they will be taught in their language of choice. Also, there is no security for children and teachers at schools. Teachers end up fighting with children over on social media. Another point is, how can we allow alcohol in schools? Because we won't be able to control our children if they are drunk. Also, I want to put forward that the bill should make abortion a choice, and it should not be imposed on anyone. The bill should also advise children on how to behave so that they can end up being successful and completing their grade 12. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Good day, Chairperson. Dumela Mudula Stilo, Goeiedag die voorsitter. I am Amogelan Tekisho, and I reject the bill completely. The clause 27, 37, 41. I thought today we speak about children, but yet you kill the children. You advise abortion. How is that possible? That you want the children to have education, but you kill them, advising abortion at schools. And my question today is to you, everyone who's sitting inside here, why did your mother not kill you? Why motsadi wa gago ana sa go bolaya wena o dutse mo teng mo? Hoekom as jou ma jou nie doodgemaak die elke persoon na die binne sit nie? Maar vandag you advise that children must be killed. I thought it's a children week. Today, we couldn't speak if our mothers did not brought us to this earth. So I say no to child kill. And everyone who's going to support it, the blood is in your hands today. Also telling us that alcohol must be promoted at school. There are friends that I know that attend school. Each and every day they cry to the teachers that my mother is drunk. He does not even ask me how I'm doing at school. And today you want to promote alcohol. For who? To benefit the parents, not the children.
What does a child has to do with alcohol? Why did 18, but now you say the children can drink alcohol and you are advising the alcohol at school premises. Are you sure that the children will stay out of alcohol if they see it? And now, the thing that breaks my heart, you kill someone who can be tomorrow's president. Today we are suffering with a lot of diseases. We have killed the professor that can cure the cancer today, the professor that can cure HIV. But today you promote to kill them. For what reason? And the matter of fact that you open singing for God, you pray, but you go against him. Why? Why do you start the parliament with God when you don't even allow his word? Why? The Bible says you will stand before and you, government, knows the difference between right and wrong. And you know this bill is wrong. But you still promote it.
And your time is up. Thank you very much. Next.
My naam is Gordon Adams. Ek is van die ACDP. Ons verwerp die bil op clausule 41, 37 en 27. Wat ons sê is gee mense 'n kans om 'n adult matriek te kry sodat hulle 'n beter werk kan kry of verder kan leer. Baie van ons mense val uit die skole uit oor omstandighede met adult matriek soos die nasionale sertifikaat vir adults kan mense hulle lewe verbeter, veral vrouens wat babatjies gekry het en nou uitgeval het. Maak dit maklik vir mense om oor te begin. Die ACDP reject die bill.
My name is Gordon Adams, and I am from the ACDP. We reject the bill, especially clauses 41, 37, and 27. I want to say to you today that you should actually give people the opportunity to get a matric and not to drop out. We reject the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Thandiwe Morake. I'm the Regional Education Convener of SADU in JTG, the biggest union in the country. Chairperson, I'm also a school principal in a deep rural area of Coldstone. Chair, I want to support the Bella Bill, 100%, Chairperson. I support all clauses in the Bella Bill because it will address problems amongst the others. Malicious abuse of SGB authorities to snuffle transformation. Chairperson, I also support the bill based on clause number 2, which addresses or amend the section number 3 of SASA to provide school attendance in compulsory from grade R. In my village, Chairperson, most of the learners are not able to go to grade R because there are no ECD centers. So it will advantage learners from our villages to be able to start school from grade R. Chair, I also want to align myself with the bill, with the clause number 5, which seeks to amend Section 6 of SASSA to provide for the government, for SGB body to submit the language of policy of a public school and any amendments thereof to the head of department to approve, to ensure the schools not to discriminate against others, learners based on the language. Chair, I hear other speakers are alluding in terms of abortion. And the Bible that I'm reading, it says God created us in his image. So the very same people who are speaking about abortion are the very same people who are discriminating our learners in terms of their language that they are using in their schools. And Chair, I just tend to wonder, are we not hypocrites? We are not preaching what is in our hearts, Chair. I want to conclude, Chairperson, and support the bill based on clause number 7 to seek amendment, Section 8 of SASSA, by providing in clause number 7, not only applicable provincial law, but also Constitution of the South African Republic and the SASSA must be considered when public schools adopt the school code of conduct. I thank you, Chair.
Ja, my naam is Jan, my van is Lou. Ek staan hier as 'n leier van ons gemeenskappe. Ek staan hier uit ondervinding vir baie jaar wat ek gedien het op die skoolbeheerliggame. Een van die dinge wat ons vra as ACDP, die party wat ek met hart ondersteun, is gee ons SGB's in arm gemeenskappe 'n stipend. Betaal die arme ouers ten minste. Help om hierdie skoolbeheerliggaam lede te bemagtig deur hulle opleiding te gee in diepte rakende die skoolwet, rakende die finansiële skoolwet, rakende die begrotings. Leer ons mense om met begrotings te werk en om ons skole goed te laat bestuur, omdat hulle 'n toesighoudende oorsig speel oor die skool se begroting, as ook oor die onderwysers. Dis 'n baie belangrike komponent van die ouers hierdie. Ek het geleer by die mense van die wat leef met gestremdhede. Hulle het 'n baie bekende slogan wat sê, nothing for us without us. Niks vir die gemeenskap sonder die gemeenskap. Ons kan nie toelaat dat die een van die gemeenskappe se regte om op die skoolbeheerliggaam te dien weggeneem word nie. Ons kan nie apartheid skuld gee vir 30 jaar lank nie. Tot wanneer wil die regerende party op die hol geryde rugry van apartheid om in regering te bly en om ons regeringsstelsels daardeur te vertrap. Apartheid word gebruik in skole oral om ons gemeenskap se reg weg te neem. En ons kan hierdie skole in arm gemeenskappe bastions maak van uitstekendheid. En dit kan gedoen word as ons skoolbeheerliggame betaal word. Iemand wat jy betaal kan jy aanspreeklik hou. You can play oversight role over those who you paid. Ons as gemeenskappe het nie 'n toesighoudende rol oor die SGB's nie, want ons betaal hulle nie, hulle kom en gaan soos hulle wil. Die ACDP rejects die bil wat krag gee en mag aan die minister van die departement van onderwys. Moenie ouer gesag onderneem nie.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. Translation.
My name is Jan Low, and I'm a leader of the community and served many years on the SGBs. I'm a proud member of the ACDP, and I'm asking today for a stipend for SGBs. Pay the poor parents, train us in budgets, in the School Act, and many more areas where we need training. We play a supervisory role, and it is important then to pay us. There's a slogan that says for people with disabilities that they use where they say nothing for us without us. We cannot also give apartheid the blame for everything 30 years after the fact. We are flogging a dead horse. But also, on the same hand, on the same token, apartheid is being used to keep our children out of schools, where these schools can be absolutely brilliant in what they do. I want to ask that you pay the SGBs, because if you pay them, then at least we can keep them accountable for what they are doing in our schools. As the ACDP, we reject the bill, and we will not give the power to the minister and take the power away from parents. Thank you.
Can you adjust this? Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Walter Mopalami, and I reside in Marupi. I'm also a school principal. Chairperson of the session, we are greatly disappointed by the manner in which our white counterparts are conducting themselves in this session. We are greatly disappointed. And I am tempted to remind them about the apartheid atrocities and the brutalities that they did on our own people. They are making a huge hullabaloo around the issue of abortion. And children are not forced to do abortion. It's their choice. And I'm going to say this out of my own volition to say that this abortion that they are making a huge hullabaloo out of, it is better than hanging people by the neck during the apartheid regime. So they must not provoke us. Please, they must not provoke us. I am in full support of the bill. With particular reference to section 3.1, where the bill makes provision to make schooling compulsory for grade R. We fully support that one, because it has been a thorny issue in the sector for a while. We are happy that it is now receiving the necessary attention. The second one is the home schooling. We also support homeschooling, but we want the bill to consider certain aspects around homeschooling. One, the qualifications of the practitioners and the type of education that is rendered. The bill must consider the fact that must in fact check if the qualification of the practitioner have been verified by the South African Qualification Authority. That makes provision that educators must render education. And then the third one, closing of small schools. My submission is that we also support this one. Given the vastness of our country and the limited resources that impede negatively on quality learning and teaching. So, and lastly, I personally support the bill. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, the chairperson of the session. Chairperson, I'm tempted to say I'm a teacher. My name is Matludi Mang Mokholege. In Tswana, ke motlhapi wa Pudutswana. And I also want to brag to say that I'm black in terms of the constitutional registration. But in a nutshell, when you look at me, I'm brown. So I'm proud to say that I'm black and in a brown skin. Where I'm standing here on behalf of SAPA, the South African Principal Association. I'm the president of SAPA in the Northern Cape. I'm standing here to say that there's no way that a SAPA member or a SAPA president, I can defy the proposal that the department is coming with. And there's no way that as a member of the union, SATU as a union, I can say when SATU speaks, then I say no. For us as a SAPA association, we saw it deemed fit that we come with this association so that we can support what the Constitution is saying in terms of seeing to it that all our principals and teachers are developed. So in terms of the bill is here with only three things. It's either you accept the bill or you reject the bill. And when you reject or accept, you do those with submissions. So what I'm going to say is that in terms of the grade R's, I'm supporting the statement to say that grade R should be made compulsory in our schools. And it should be made compulsory in a sense that when we make something compulsory, it means that the department, through the portfolio committees, also put it into the bill to say that you make all the enablers that will also assist principals to be able to can cater this grade R's. In terms of the security, I'm also making a submission to say, bring the securities or make securities available in schools. It's a plea from us as SAPA to say that SAPA, when a department comes in to support SAPA, SAPA will support you as much as the union is supporting you. And I want to make it to put it 100% to say that we as SAPA, we are going to support the bill as we are standing today. Chairperson, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm disappointed in a sense that as a teacher, when we hear two learners saying one thing or same things at the same time, you must know that those learners, they've took that particular things from a teacher as been copied. Where I was sitting,
Thank you very much. Your time is up.
Thank you very much. The one who is speaking here is Mr. Komucho Comforter Sekhai. I'm a teacher. I'm a community leader. And for your information, I'm also a farmer and I'm a food provider also. And I support the bill. I want to put the following inputs to support the bill of today. I'm also suggesting that the early learning centers be integrated into the Department of Education, and all the tutors who are teaching our children at that early stage be remunerated like us teachers. And they should be trained. I don't support selling alcohol in schools. We cannot say learners abuse alcohol and we sell alcohol in schools, and obviously the learners will also do drugs. It's obvious. So that one should be scrapped off. And the other thing that we should also take into consideration, bana ba rona ba loiter around taverns, and there are no strict rules to restrict learners from consuming alcohol
before they are at the age of 18 years. The law is there, but it is not implemented. So let the Department of Education or government give power to the parents so that we can discipline our kids. Na ngwana ke o feditse sekolo a sena ngwana because ke mo gagamaritse le molao ko gae. O ko agricultural college, she's doing mixed farming because the father is a farmer. She will also be a food provider. Issue of pregnancy, the issue of pregnancy. I think the parents should be given that power. Why should we allow learners to have more rights than their parents? Non-care prevention is always better than cure. Why can't we prevent our kids from getting pregnant before they are at the age of 18 years so that our learners can finish school? But it's fine. It hurts me a bit in my heart. O dirang grade 8 ale pregnant. O botsa gore o impregnantilwe ke mang ale at that early age. So I'm suggesting that parents be given permission to talk to their learners and learners be prevented from getting pregnant. I'm also suggesting the following. Ke dula ko motseng wa Dishoshaneng, and we have allocated a huge site there for a comprehensive high school that can provide technical subjects, commercial subjects, as well as agricultural studies. So the site is there. Government can step in and build a beautiful school there that can provide for learners who are staying far in the villages there using scholar transport. And the kind of transport that these learners are using.
Thank you. Thank you. Please do that. Thank you very much.
Good day, Honourable Chair. I'm Henriette du Plessis. I'm a DI councillor in the Kalahari constituency, and I'm also a mother and with kids still in school. I and we as a DI strongly reject the Bella Bill. We especially reject clause 2, 4, 5, 19, 21 and clause 57. Firstly, regulation of online and blended learning are not addressed. Secondly, the Bella Bill will rob communities of their constitutional rights to be involved and make decisions about their children's education. This must not be allowed. Take politics out of schools. The DI is very worried that the department would use clause 5 to target schools that use a single language to teach, especially Afrikaans schools. Please bear in mind that Afrikaans is one of the first biggest, most speak language in South Africa. This would have terrible consequences for the learners, luckily enough to go to school in their mother tongue. Public hearings must and should still be held in 2023. We strongly encourage all parents, teachers and members of the community to attend and voice their concerns and object to the Bella Bill. Keep politics out of our schools.
All right, we are nearing closure. I'm going to note both sides, from both sides, and then as I note you, you will come to the chair. Sit, I am going to note 1 ma'am with a red cap, 2 sir with a yellow, with a mustard, 3, 4 with a yellow, 5 with a brown, 6 with a suit, 7 with a uniform, the child, yourself, ma'am, 2. Black and white, Adidas, yes, uniform. There is a black and white at the back, right at the back, and there is a guy next to him, yes. There is a blue, yes. No, yes, you go. You, sir? Yes. And I see there is an MEC here of education. You will be the, you will close for us. Last one. Let me see. You will be the last one. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Ke a leboga, ke ile go bolela ka Sepedi. Lebitso la ka ke Dra Tshepo Tlobantsana. Ka mmereko ke nna the principal ya sekolo sa Moshaweng from deep rural area. So I'm worried, ke bile worried ke dutse mona ke kwa batho ba bolela ka pregnancy, abortion. Gore the parliament ya bolela. Dilo ke tse dintšhi, why re concentrate mo go selong se se one? Ntho e one e ka dira gore o tswalle matlo se kwa bona the whole thing. Bagaetsho a ikona. A re go bala selo se, this is a wonderful document. I've been crying and dying to see this moment. Mo e leng gore re tla ba incorporated go bolela ra tšea karolo ra tšwetša pele naga ya rena. So nna ke re ka bonna bill ye ke a e support. Ke a e support-a a e tšwele pele re a leboga parlamente gore includile. Ke support-a kudu ela le ele ya gore Section 16 empowerang gore the SGB members ba bereka kudu bo dikolong ba ya up and down every day ka dilo tse di diragalang mo sekolong matšatši. There are so many things that are happening mo dikolong. So SGB is always at school. Ke dintwa ke di drugs ke eng di abortion, so many problems. So SGB so ensure at least parlamente le kweleng botlhoko le keng go ba fa sengwenyana. Ke a leboga, ke a e support-a bill.
One, two. Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Tshepo Tobetsani, and then when it comes to work, I'm a principal by profession in the Moshaweng rural area, which is very, very deep rural. Now, I've been very worried listening to the people expressing themselves because I'm having a document in my hand and I think there is a lot in this particular document which people can read about. But now, each and every one of the people come here have been hammering on one and the same thing, talking about pregnancy, talking about abortion. You know, there is so much which I would encourage the people to go and actually take a look into this document and read it. It is such a very good document and I love it myself. So thank you for actually including us to take part in this so that we together can move our country forward. I wholeheartedly support this bill and thanks very much to Parliament for including us in this. And especially also having included the fact that it's related to the SGBs, that these people are hard at work and they are actually dealing with a lot of problems. We know that there is drugs which are out of control, abortions are happening, there are fights. And Parliament has established these people in place so as to see what can be done in executing their work towards these things. I wholeheartedly support the bill and thanks very much, Chair.
Next.
Yeah. I am Jabu Apani from Congress of the South African SGBs, mandated by Northern Cape, COSA SGB. Oh, Namo. As I stand here, we support the bill 120%. And we are not going to be misled. We are not going to be misled by the racist agenda ya batho ba batshweu. Re bolela factually so, because le bona, by their conduct, ga ba pretending. Ga ba pretending. Ba leka go botša lena le batho, ke bolela ka Sepedi, ba leka go botša lena le batho ba baso gore homeschooling ke yona e best. A parent who a dirang homeschooling ke no best. Ho e le gore a iše ngwana sekolong sa public school, o ka re ha tsebe selo. We are all best. O iša ngwana ka gae o ra o mo iše kae, we are all best. Mara ntho re lwang le yona ke gore makgowa, ke bolela ka Sepedi, makgowa ga ba nyake go monitoriwa. Ge ba iša ngwana ka gae ba mo ruta, a ba nyake HOD a tsene, a ba nyake department e tsene, ba diang ka kua gae. Go na le curriculum e nngwe ye re belaelang gore ba e ruta. ACDP le makgowa ga ba nyake motho department e ba lebelela gore ba diang. Escosa SGB re department ga e tsene ba lebelela gore ba diang. Ke mamenemene batho bao, re ba bone gore ba passa too much the independent schools, mara ga ba fitla university ba faila. Rena re a passa. Ke mamenemene batho bao, a re ba šale morago. Go na le batho ba bangwe ba itša gore ga ba bolela Afrikaans ba tseba go bolela English, ba dula next door le lekgowa, ke makgowa, ke ditlaela.
Your time is up. Your time is up. Translation?
Water bill, Kosa SGB, Northern Cape.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Jabu Apale. I support the bill. And I just want to say that the people who are saying to the blacks that they should not take their children to a homeschooling but to public schoolings are the bad ones. So because when we take our children to public schooling or to homeschooling, they regard us as the bad ones. With the white people in general, they don't actually want to be monitored when they actually put their children through homeschooling. They don't want to be visited. They don't want their work to be seen as to exactly what they are doing. It seems like they may be having their own secret curriculum, which they don't want the department to see and to know about. And then we want to encourage the department to please check on these people, go and do some monitoring and see exactly what is it that they are imparting or what kind of an education are they imparting to their children when they actually put them through homeschooling. So one thing that we have noticed as the ACDP is the fact that these children who have been put through homeschooling, they can progress, but as soon as they qualify for the university, they fail a lot. And we ourselves pass. So as you can see, there is a problem there. And there are many of those who believe that if you are black, if you speak English, if you speak Afrikaans very well, you are white. But that is not the truth. And we want to say as the ACDP that we support the bill, but these are our issues that we are submitting at this moment. Thank you.
Madume modulasetulo le baetsana ba gago. Ke rata go buana ke re nna leina la me ke Robi. Fane ke Tsikwe. Ke moeteledipele ebile ke moagi wa lekgotla la South African National Civic Organization, SANCO. Ke utlwa batho ba bua dilo tse re sa di tlelang. Dilo tse re di tletseng mo ke gore a o support-a bili kgotsa o support-a bili ga o rate eng le eng mo go yona. Jaanong motho o bua dilo tse pedi or se seno se ba re ga ke support-e bili. Ke probleme ya batho ha ba brainwashilwe. Ke probleme ya batho ha ba le their mind have been indoctrinated. Now, ke rata go bua yana. Ha re tla mo re baeteledipele kgotsa re batho ba mekgatlo. A re bue se batho ba rona ba eletsang go se itse. E seng se nna ke batlang go se bolelela batho. 1, comprehensive sex education. E tlile yana ka gore bana ba ithwala mme ko sekolong ga ba tlhalosetse gore ba prevent yang go ithwala. Batsadi ba palelwa ke go dira seo seo. Sa bobedi ya abortion ke gore wena wa re ngwana gago a se ka bona mara wa go nwa dijiki le di inko strateng a tsaya se di tsala di se buang. Ha ngwana o a tlhokagala kgotsa a lwala o batla go itse gore go tswa kae mara ko wena o dulang le ene. Jaanong se sengwe ke gore ga re ke support-ile bill. Se sengwe ke gore bagaetsho a re tlogeleng go itlotlona. Wa bana ba tshwanetse ba re homeschool mara ba kry-a subsidy mo departmenteng. Mara ha ba re ga ba batle go monitoriwa mara ba batla madi ke eng se ba se batlang. Go raya gore ba sentse ba boela ko morago gore bone ba pinki rona re dark brown. Ke sone hela gona se se re kgaoganye. Because madi a gago ha o segwa a mahibidu le aka a mahibidu. Jaanong ga ke itse gore re bua ka modimo mare modimo e ka re o mošweu ga di khalara tsotlhe. Modimo ke moya ke se gakolodi sa gago ga e se motho re se ka ra tla go dira gore nyena ka gore lo ba šweu le modimo nya. Ba gaetsho ke support-a bili ke kopana gore batho ba tla tlhola ba dise batho ba itlotlolang.
Good afternoon, Chairperson and your crew. My name is Robi Tsikwe, and I'm a leader and of SANCO. I've heard people talking about other things, so many things. I think what they should do is to mention whether they support the bill or they do not, or whether there are some aspects of the bill that they support, either be they 2 or 3 or more. I think the people who have spoken here are people who have been brainwashed or have been indoctrinated, as we have heard how they put their facts together. As leaders, when we come here, we should not talk on our own. We should address matters that our community are concerned about. The issue of comprehensive sex has been brought into the education spectrum because of teenage pregnancies. And abortion has been brought about because children have not been taught at home what to do. And people become surprised when this happens. And I also hear people becoming proud of being engineers of home-based education, whereas there is something they get from the government, but they don't want to toe the line when the government advises them. And you also hear them, the white community, talking about God. I don't know whether according to them, God is white or God is black. I'm a black person. And same as them, when you cut me or you cut them, red blood will flow. So let's know what to talk about and not to talk about. Thank you. I support the bill.
Next.
No, I feel like I'm a recording studio, but it's fine. Hello, everyone. Yes, the person who's standing before you is Lucky Mumagwe. But I guess a bushman. I'm from this organization called COSASA GB, but I'm an light aircraft pilot by profession. And I've never attended a home schooling. And then number two, firstly, I just want to say I do support the Bella Bill. I'll give you the reasons why. During our schooling days, we were beaten for not wearing like the correct shoes. Like if you didn't have the black shoe, no matter winter or summer, our shoes were taken to the staff room by our principals from 8 a.m. and we'll get there maybe around after school. By then we didn't know about the old laws implementation, and we didn't know who implemented those laws. What we know is that we must wake up and go to school. We didn't know even who implemented those laws. But now we are glad to be part of this meeting. We are glad to be part of this gathering in order to express our feelings, in order to express our love to educate for education. I just consider myself fortunate to be seated next to our officials, especially members of parliament, hellos, and then to our pastors and everyone. But today, we act as if during our old days, we were attending schools in heaven. We've been struggling, people, wake up. But even the old men and then old ladies here, they were old men and old ladies here. But they were also because of this load shedding, ke tlo ya ko Swaneng. Rena re le batho ba bantsho le ba basweu ne re no ya sekolong melao e bja ke di-presidente melao e bja ke government re sa includiwe. But please wake up, tsohang. I support the bill.
We as black kids, we only attended school. We didn't know why we were beaten. We didn't know why we were so suppressed, but we only discovered now that this was introduced by the apartheid government. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Yolanda Slade, and I am the Provincial QLTC Coordinator for Northern Cape.
Order.
First and foremost, let me support the bill. All 56 clauses of it. Secondly, let me also take into the opportunity and thank our honorable members who are here, the Portfolio Committee of Education, for the opportunity that you have given to us to have our voices say. This is a democratic process. For the people, by the people. Therefore, I must also raise my dissatisfaction with the manner in how some of the members are conducting themselves. We must respect each other. We say dignity for all, not for certain people, for certain races, for all of us. It can be correct that our honorables are pointed at. And then what are you teaching your children? We are busy with nation building. We're building a society. And as the coordinator of this province, all children are important, all, irrespective. Thirdly, we are saying children are a national asset. All children, we're not discriminating with it. We want to see a society when we are gone that is able to live in peace and in harmony. We only have this world. There's no other world or there's no other earth. It's only this one. We must make it a better place for our children. This bill seeks to transform. This bill seeks to be inclusive. This bill seeks to ensure that injustices that were there, it's addressed and dealt with. If we're going to oppose it with lies, because it can be correct that honorables are going out and spreading lies about what this government is saying when the government is not saying that. The government does not say that there must be abortion. We're very much concerned about this abortion. We had a teenage pregnancy launch just here in JTG, where we also got the stats that majority of the learners here are pregnant. Where are the parents? The fact of the matter is we die young. There are certain diseases. COVID-19 has also showed us that way we have lost. We need to be a caring society. We need to ensure that the child-hated households are being taken care of. The girl child, the theme was not me, not now. It demonstrated that this is a government that is caring. So it can be correct that we say, the bill is saying that or suggesting that liquor must be sold in schools. It does not say that. We must clarify these myths. It's wrong. The bill says, if there is an event at a school, a function, give the SGB an opportunity to fundraise. The fact is, alcohol is being consumed, but we are saying regulate it. We are not saying sell alcohol to children. We say, because of the regulations that are there, we say no to alcohol, yes. But we are saying, use then that space to fundraise. So
Your time is up, sorry. Thank you so much.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Cornelius Manye, Bishop Manye. I'm the secretary of JTG CM. You know, I have been listening. Sometimes, you know, as the Christian or as the Baruti, the Bible says that we are the light of the world. So when we talk, we must know that people are looking at us. Secondly, the Bible says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. You know, we are given an opportunity by the government to say, here is the bill. What is your view on the matter? You know, sometimes, and this thing, it goes to our children. Some people fail, not because they don't know the answer, but because they misunderstand what they must do. So here we are given an opportunity to say, here is the bill. What is your view on the matter? You know, and it is uncalled for us to can say, we reject the bill, without saying, why are we rejecting the bill? So I am saying, as Baruti, we support the bill. But there are issues. There are issues that need proper clarification. And I think the latter speaker here tried to clarify some of the issue, like the issue of alcohol, the issue of abortion. Those are the issues that need to be clarified further. And again, there are issues that need to be looked into, like the issue, the barriers that are there at private school when admitting children. Those are the issue of concern to us as members of society. Secondly, the stipends for the SGB, it must be looked into. As I have said, we support the bill. Thank you.
Chair, and just one expression that kept cropping up from time to time as Baruti. So she means as member of the clergy.
Ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and all the staff that is before us. My name is Stanley Molale. I am a Full Gospel Church pastor, I'm the chairperson of the Moral Regeneration in the district of JTG. Actually, I did not have enough time to look into the bill. So I feel like I'm between the two walls. But I just have some points of concern when it comes to education of our children. So the issue of religion, it seems like the department is not so much into the issue of religion. You know, our hearts, we desire to see our children, getting educated with a very good spirit. And for them to be good people of tomorrow, they must be taught the word of God from the school. Let me pass by. Another point is that I'm not supporting this thing of closing small schools. Children start traveling by buses to some remote places, because it consumes their time. And when they get there, they are tired. They are not getting well educated. So that is my point. I just want to paraphrase my points here. I've got a concern, ladies and gentlemen. I will come that to the end. Our textbook in Setswana, Setswana that is taught at our schools, to me, I'm not really satisfied. When you read those textbooks, when you help children, their homeworks, homework, teacher ke botse gore pudi ya rre ke eng be ke ipotsa gore pudi ya rre ke tsene sekolo ga se tsamaye ke rutwe ka pudi ya rre ke la gore those are some of the things le mafoko a mangwe wa ipotsa gore a yona kwala textbook ye a ke Motswana a ke Mopedi kgotsa ke Mosotho so Setswana sa rona sa compromise. That's the point of concern. And then I've got a concern again. The teachers, the SATU members, they are totally in favor of the bill. But what confuses me is that when they take their children to the schools of those who are not in support of the bill, so I'm wondering what is happening. Maybe there is something that I'm not understanding. So the issue of alcohol has been clearly understood that we shouldn't fundraise by selling alcohol. Parents should be given the power to decide for their children. The children have got.
Motsadi wa ka nako ya gagwe fedile ga leboga. Re kopa o tlhalose gore a mme wa e thekga kgotsa o mo magareng kgotsa
Ke batla gore mo go yone ke mo magareng ka tota ga se ke utlwe sentle.
ke a leboga.
Ke a leboga.
Translation.
Just a little bit of something he put into his submission. He says that there is a problem sometimes with the language that is being used in the textbooks when children are having education imparted to them in their mother tongue. Sometimes a child will come and then you will maybe say something like, I've been giving a homework, and then here is a question that says, what is the role of the husband in the family? Now, the term role, the way they have used it in their mother tongue there, is difficult to understand what it exactly means. Whether is this Setswana, is this Sesotho, is this Sepedi, exactly what it is. So now what he's trying to allude to is that it seems like the Setswana is not well used, and is it being compromised? So that is one of the things that he mentioned there, Chair.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Juabona Totlego, a Deputy President of Olebogen Secondary School, which is located in Camden. I support the Bella Bill because it helps us to know that we are fairly being treated the same. And I support Section 51 of the Bella Bill because it says that when a parent of a learner which is subjected to a compulsory attendance and chooses that her or his child should be educated at home. That parent must apply to the head of the department for the registration of the learner to receive home education. Because when his or her child is about to write examinations, the head of the department will surely send an invigilator to invigilate the learner. And if the parent doesn't apply to the head of the department, it means that the parent is not truthful to her or his child, because it means that she wants her or his child to copy and pass the exams with high marks than those of us who are invigilated while writing exams. In so, I support the Bella Bill because it is fairly treating those of us who are attending public schools and those of us who are being educated at home. There is something that I would like to address on abortion. Fellow South Africans, abortion is not always about killing. And when a girl terminates her pregnancy, it means that she has her own reasons for terminating the pregnancy. And if a 15-year-old girl falls pregnant, do you think that that girl would be able to breastfeed the baby? I say that if a pregnant girl falls pregnant, I say that if a pregnant girl feels that she wants to terminate the baby, she must do so because it is her life. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Tsepiso Mutabuhi, the Deputy Secretary of South African Principals Association in Northern Cape. I'm supporting the Bill 100%. And I'm going to mention only 2 items I've just picked up from the bill. I think colleagues are good people. Please let us not misinterpret the bill. We totally misinterpret the bill. Let us not do that. So my 2 points are the abortion. There is no abortion in the Bella Bill. No, at all. There is nothing like that in the bill. Let us not misinterpret the bill. We know that there are people who are misleading the public in order for them to serve their political interests. We are aware. We are sick and tired, good people. We are sick and tired about this. And this must not be entertained because really is totally not in the bill. What the bill is saying, it seeks to come with the mechanism to manage this pregnancy at schools only. My second point, homeschooling. The bill is not doing away with the homeschooling, but I'm saying it is suggested that homeschooling be regulated only, nothing else. I thank you.
My name is Bangilizwe Ngubo. I work in the education sector. Chairperson and members, a simple reflection on the proceedings here today demonstrates that the political parties, particularly the ACDP and the DA, have missed the plot. They have opted to spread lies about our God, the same God we serve. Our Redeemer Jesus Christ would have called them hypocrites, for they use God to lie. They are not attending to the Bella Bill in their input. In fact, Chairperson, we must call their actions for what they are. They are trying to resuscitate the debate on the choice of termination of pregnancy, which is an act of parliament that has already been passed about abortion. This is nothing but a backdoor ploy to bring back the debate on abortion, because nowhere in the Bella Bill does it say that. But secondly, they have also opted to show their true nature, and they're exposing themselves. They are reminding us that with every effort we make to get closer to them, they choose to move away from us. They are reminding us it is every time us who want to get closer to them in the name of reconciliation. The Bella Bill is a comprehensive effort to seek for this unity and reconciliation in the sector. But they choose to do what we call the new form of apartheid through homeschooling. If you look at homeschooling, it is nothing but a separatist mentality. But in any case, we are granting them that through the Bella Bill. But we want them to be more accountable. We want it to be more regulated. Someone from the ACDP and the DA must stand here and tell us what is it that they are hiding from these homeschools. But lastly, or second last, Chair, I wish to remind the House that, in fact, this is not a popularity contest. They seem to think that with more clapping of the hands and with more loud noises, their input is going to change. They must engage us on the content. They must engage us on their shortcomings. Otherwise, the Bella Bill is solid. And then lastly, and this is just an appeal, if the people want to leave this country, they are free to do so. We will not stop them, but they cannot let us go back to apartheid.
My name is Musimane Gapelieu. I'm a poet and also a writer. I'm the second RCL president of Kuruman, and I solidly supported the Bella Bill. Black people should be given the same opportunities as the white people. The white privilege are given enough power to have the authority through educational system. While ours, we are neglected. Our duties are neglected in school in such a way that when I get to high school, I get to choose 3 subjects, but the white privileges can choose as many subjects as they want. The grade R class should be compulsory. Each and every child should go to grade R before going to grade 1.
Sorry, my baby, and I'm very sorry to disturb you. People spoke here, and they were not disturbed. So can we allow, especially a child like this one, how do you build a confidence out of this child when you are going to say comments that are uncalled for? So let us try to be orderly, and especially as adults, because we have children. So we are managing it and we are trying to be patient, but when it comes to where we can't take it, because with children, which we've got a responsibility to build a future out of, this is a child. You can't make a comment that is uncalled for and you expect us to keep quiet. We are not going to do it. We are really not going to do it. Children spoke here of a particular color yesterday. We listened. These children are speaking here. There are comments made by people who are calling themselves, they are Jesus Christ followers. Let us not derail this process. It's a people's process. This is a child, for heaven's sake. My apologies. Continue.
And as I was saying, that the white privileges have enough authority than the black privileges. In our country, the government promised that they are doing every commission to keep the apartheid regime over this country. But what we are receiving is an inequality of freedom of expressions in these schools. And also the public schools don't give us the enough freedom of expressions to express our feelings. Mostly, our sexualities are neglected in these people. People uses Jesus Christ to discriminate our sexualities. And that has to stop today. If you respect me, I will respect you. And for that, my last point, abortion is your choice. Your body, your choice. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to thank Parliament and in particular the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education for allowing the community of Northern Cape to participate in this important process that seeks to enhance and regulate the learning and teaching environment. I am Sharon Plaikis, and as a young mom, open-minded, with sober Christian beliefs, it is important for me to add my voice in shaping the future of our future leaders. I therefore stand here in support of the Bella Bill. Chair, I support in particular this bill precisely because we have witnessed so many times unnecessary protests that are more often than not led by SGB members who is supposed to be part of the broader community. And these actions are led during critical times of exams, causing the inability of our learners to attend schools at that critical point. Therefore, strict regulations on governance structures becomes key. Secondly, the uncalled manipulation of the school language policies in those former Model C schools is just but another way for those privileged few to exclude and marginalize the black child once more. Clause 5 seeks to address exactly that. I want to emphasize, Chair, as a young mom in particular, I stand here and I say we will no longer allow the injustices of the past to deprive our children the equal rights to education in this country. Let me also say, Chair, you being here today is a clear indication of a government that is an embodiment of the Batupile principles, and in particular, openness and transparency. That's why some of them could stand here raging that they are putting pap on the table of the black man. They stand here, and I want to tell you that you have to do it because you don't want to see them prosper. You don't want to see them becoming better than yourselves. You want to keep them under your vicious, inhuman spell En vir altyd wil julle hê hulle moet van die krummels van julle tafels lewe. It is actually sickening, Chair. It is equally extremely wrong for someone to come and stand here and go.
Time is up. Thank you very much.
Dear Honourable Chairperson and Members of Parliament, I'm Ray Charles Dazelle. Today I stand before you as an ambassador of Christ. I am a prayer warrior. I am a soldier in my God's army. Today I rejected Bella Bill in its entirety, especially clause 27, 37 and 41. My first words in grade R that I can remember from the teacher was, "Look kids, we have a stupid kid in class." I was diagnosed with dyslexia, but my mom kept out and she taught me how to study. She got me through it. They said I wouldn't manage to be able to get a degree or even complete school. Today I stand before you with a degree in psychology that I got at the University of South Africa with distinctions. Furthermore, I used to be homosexual. I was off the road completely. But God saw me, heard my prayers, and He saved me. I just want to say to the gay guys out there in the homosexual community, there are predators out there that are preying on younger men underage, and they will drag them in. Because of the gay community, I was sucked into drugs and then got lost completely. But God heard my prayers once again, and He took me out of that community, and He made me stand here. If we neglect the commandments of my God, then no one and millions of others like me would never be able to stand here. I'm not against blacks. I'm not against whites. I'm not against anyone. I'm here proclaiming the words of my God. My God is looking at every single one of us right now. His presence is in this room, and He's searching through our hearts every single day. And He can search my heart, and I can say and invite Him in. Can you do the same, members of Parliament? We've heard so many times that blood is on your hands. Have you looked at your heart? How clean is your heart? I say, I invite Christ into my life. To leave you with a story, my mother is homeschooling my niece, and from there, she saw a gap in the community of Butlas, and from there she's teaching 75 black kids how to work past their learning disabilities. The only white child in that school is my niece, and she's also helping. So let's leave crimination aside. I was born in 93, a year before Nelson Mandela was elected. Yesterday someone said he would turn around in his grave. And he surely would. He surely would. Why aren't there new Nelson Mandelas being born in this country? Because the blood of them are on your hands.
Goeiemôre, ek is Marina Kloete. Ek is van Katoo en ek is 'n rekenmeester. We refer to the 2.4 providing quarterly reports, apart from the annual audited financial statements that the governing body would have to submit, will place a financial and administrative burden on the governing body and the school's resources. We reject this amendment for several reasons. Number one, Section 43(5) of the Schools Act already makes provision for an SGB to submit annual financial reports, which we submit are sufficient. The administrative burden this will place on our provincial departments of education is unreasonable and takes away valuable time which could rather be spent focusing on underperforming and dysfunctional schools. We thank you.
Goeiemiddag, allemaal in die zalen. Mijn naam is Nazim Frits. Ik is een volle trotse ACDP lid aan die Noordkap. Ik reject die billable. Vooral die clause oor alcohol en die policy oor abortion. Ons sukkel klaar met drugs en alcohol aan ons gemeenskappe. Ons soek nie drank op ons skole nie. Ons wil ook nie hê dat vreemde mense ons kinders moet raad gee oor seks nie, van ek is self 'n pa. Dan is ons ook gekant teen klas section 37. Ons is gekant daarteen dat CSE nou gefors word. Die sex education vir kinders wat teen ouers en onderwysers se geloof is. Ons is gekant teen dit. Ons homeschools en Christian schools soek nie CSE nie. Moenie hulle dwing om dit te vat nie. Ons staan vir 'n homeschooling, want ons Christen geloof is vir ons belangrik. Dit is ons reg om ons kinders te leer in die lyn met ons geloof. Baie dankie.
Good afternoon. My name is Nazim Brists, and I'm a proud member of the ACDP. We reject the Bella Bill, especially the clauses dealing with alcohol on school premises, as well as the abortion part. We already battle with alcohol on school premises. We do not want that. It will not help us at all. We also do not want unknown people to advise our children regarding sex or sex education. That is the platform for parents to take part of. Also, I want to state it clearly that homeschools and Christian schools are something that we support, especially because we want to determine ourselves how we will deal with sex education as of a point of Christian values. Thank you very much.
Greetings to all. I'm Howard Moretzi, the proud member of the ACDP. I reject the Bella Bill on clause 8. Say no to the sale of alcohol in our school. Obviously, learners will be tempted to try and get access to alcohol. So allowing the sale of alcohol on our school premises shows that the government and the education is not taking the future and the health of our children seriously. So alcohol harm and its implication for society are a significant challenge in South Africa. With youth drinking an issue of particular concern, this will bring learning and memory problems and poor performances in schools. So therefore, we must stand up against these injustices which threaten to transform our schools in taverns and breeding grounds against us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dumelang, Abusheni, Nda. Goeiemiddag. My name is Peter Lazarus Makale. I am a community member and a leader from a village called Ditagong in the northwest, from an NPC, a non-profit company called The New Quest. I am the founder and the chairperson of that organization. I am 2,780 in support of the Bella Bill. Yes, I agree that homeschooling should be allowed, but with it being monitored, number one. With it being monitored. When you look into the issue of the dropouts in the Northern Cape as one of the provinces that has got a higher rate of dropouts, it is because of the homeschooling that are not regulated.
I will repeat. The number of dropouts in the Northern Cape, it is very high because of homeschoolings that are not regulated. But now that the government says they're going to regulate it, Pashasha, I support it. With the issue of alcohol being sold during fundraisings in school, I'm a bit concerned because as one person who is actually assisting the schools in the rural areas where I am from, we have actually realized that a lot of social ills are too many because of these abuses of substances. So that one I would say, let's look at it let's look at it in a different perspective. Ke tla feta moo. Ke ya ko issue ya the grade R's. Pashasha, I support it so that every kid, every individuals ba kgone gape ba kry mebereko. Gore re bone di grade R's tsa rona le bone bana ba ska tshwana le ba di homeschooling bana di dropouts. A re tla ko issue ya di SGBs, ke tla zama gore ke be fast nyana di SGBs, re kry ile gore di sharp, yes they are very good, but let's look at the behavior sometimes that they portray. I think department plus the parliament try and come closer to them and see if they are not coming doozy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next. Oh, okay. 2 seconds.
Chair, yes, I think he was emphasizing the matter of grade R's, that it has to be promoted so that people who are unemployed can have some employment, and this will contribute for these kids as they graduate from it down the line into their future. They will not drop out of school.
Can I start? Good day, members. Thank you for the opportunity for this admission. My name is Carl du Plessis. I'm an educator. I partially support the bill, which means I partially don't support the bill. I just want to focus on two things, since I mostly agree with the bill in the first place. And this is the one relating to the governing body's powers concerning admission and language, more specifically the HOD's powers concerning that. So the bill limits the governing body's power to determine the school's admission policy. The power to determine a school's admission policy should vest in the governing body with the oversight of the HOD, I should say. I see it difficult with 24,000 schools in the country that our provincial departments, HODs, is going to be able to sufficiently sort out our policies. Then this from the department alluded to the fact that that has got nothing to do with infrastructure. I must unfortunately disagree. Everything's going to go back to infrastructure. So, which means admission policy is going to go to capacity. Capacity is going to go to classroom size and school size. So that's going to have a direct impact on the infrastructure of the schools, which we do not have enough of, since most of the children is in classes 40 to 60 children in a class. Then the HGB is made up of parents, educators, and community, and it's in the best position to determine the policy of language and admission of that specific town or section of the city it's in. It's knowledgeable about the area, the school's budget and needs. They are aware of relevant interconnected factors to plan and govern these aspects of a school in order to best serve the specific community, which plays into especially the language policy of a school, where according to the Constitution, preference of the people, among other things, should be considered with a crucial component in providing quality education to learners. Moreover, the SGB's power to formulate these policies is not unfettered. I refer you to sections 5, paragraph 5, sections 6.1, 58C of the Schools Act. This also ensures that HOD and MSC's oversight functions are exercised reasonably and proportionally, as should be the case in a democracy, where government is based on the will of the people, as stated in the Constitution, and not the state per se, which would be the case if you allow the HOD to have the final say on everything. Then we might just as well say that the state have the say in the first place, which will take away the corporate governance of all the different factors, teachers and parents and the government working together. So to conclude, I do not support these two amendments, clauses 4D and 5C, as they currently stand. I think there should just be made amendments in the wording of how it has been said, taking into account that the HOD's oversight functions on language and admission policies can open the door to a totalitarian form of governing, which is opposed by the Constitution of South Africa. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much. Honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, all the supporting staff, and all the parents who are here today, good afternoon. Honorable Chair, as the custodian of this bill, Department of Education, I'm standing here as a custodian of the bill. I acknowledge that the bill is coming from the Department of Education. And I must say that the department did not just wake up and decided there must be a bill tomorrow. There have been very in-depth work, research that has been done to make sure that we come up with a bill that will take South Africa forward. My name is Zolile Monakale. I'm the Executive Authority of Education in the Northern Cape. Let me just raise two concerns before I go into what I actually want to say. If there are two things that you should never do when you are getting the society together to engage on societal matters, never bring politics in, never use the Bible. You bring politics in, you will be dividing us. I've been looking here to the gathering here. People are saying I'm ACDP, others are whatever. I'm a member of the ANC. I'm not going to come here and say I'm ANC because I'm a member of society and we are dealing with a societal matter that is in all of our interests. So we should avoid bringing politics, especially to the education sector. Because if there's something that must unite us in this country, it's education. The second thing that we must never do, never bring the Bible in such issues. I can say this same Bible was used to dispossess my grandparents of their land. You've got your interpretation of the Bible, I've got my own interpretation. My Bible says we are all equal before the Lord. And a practice that says that white people are superior and black people are inferior is against the Bible. And we can go on and on and on. So to make sure we come together, we are cohesive, let us leave such things out and let us concentrate on the factors on the table. What is on the table here is the Bella bill that's on the table. What is this bill trying to do? This bill is trying to say we are a diverse society in South Africa. In whatever we do, we must try to bring us all together. There are privileged people, there are less privileged people. And this bill is trying to close the gap between the privileged and the less privileged, or the haves and the don't haves. This bill is consisting of 56 chapters, so to say. But most of the comments here, people speak about abortion. They want to push this abortion thing into this bill. This bill is not here to say we must abort or we must not abort. As a parent, I would have argued, okay, the department is using this thing. The concern is what is the high level of teenage pregnancies. What can I suggest as a parent to assist the department to deal with the teenage pregnancy issue? That should be our concentration. Now, I am taking this one section out of part of a section. I make it now the bill. And because of that one section, I say I reject the bill. The bill is referring to homeschooling. Instead of saying homeschooling is working, that's what the bill is saying. We say we are welcoming homeschooling because it is working. But I've never seen a country, I'm struggling to get a country where you get homeschooling, where the government does not know what is taking place there. There's no regulations around homeschooling. You go into the whole world, there will be homeschooling, it will be regulated. Because the government must know what's taking place in the country. How will we know that you are doing homeschooling, you are not preparing that child to be a human bomb? How will government know that? Because we must secure our country. It's not to say homeschooling must not be done. It's just to say homeschooling must be done within parameters. There must be regulations. There must be requirements. So that this thing can be accepted. If those children come from homeschooling and they come into the mainstream education, at least there must be a level of compatibility with the learners in the public sector. That's all what the department is saying. So now what we are doing, we are politicizing the process, we are dividing us between black and white. That's what we are doing now. You look into all these things, white people will stand up and say we don't support. Black people will now stand up and say they support. This is not the intention of the bill. The intention of the bill is to say, let us transform our education sector in the best interest of all South Africans, blacks and whites. And if there are white people who are having the experience of the homeschooling, because 99% of homeschooling are amongst white people, rather share those experiences with the department so that we can see what is the best way to go forward with this bill. But I don't see this bill as a thing that must further divide us. Of course, people are playing politics, we are going towards elections. But we cannot play politics with the future of our children. A child is a child, whether it's black, green, or gold, doesn't matter. They are South Africans, we are children, we are all of this country. We must not use insightful language. I cannot come here, I'm a farmer myself. I'm also feeding this nation. I've got my own farm, I'm feeding the nation. I cannot come say, yeah, I feed white people. I feed South Africans, not white people, not black people. I am feeding South Africans. So as a producer, I must say I feed the nation. And it's in the interest of all of us. Not to say I feed black people. I'm not going to say I feed white people. I am saying I'm feeding the nation because I've got a responsibility towards this country. So as a custodian of this policy, chairperson, all what I'm saying, we put this policy forward because we have made thorough research. And we are very confident that this policy, it might have some loopholes, of course. We are not perfect. But this policy will take the education system of the country to the next level. With that said, Chair, let me, on behalf of the Department of Education in the Northern Cape, let me thank you for this opportunity. It's the first time I participate in a public hearing. In the past, we never had an opportunity to input in laws. A law will be declared today, state of emergency, tomorrow is implemented. Finish and clear, no input. This government is giving us an opportunity to make input. Let us use that to our advantage and let us unite the country. Let us unite as South Africans. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are closing now. We are closing the session. You know, one thing we have agreed upon as a committee is that this bill is very important. And we agreed it as members of the committee that it will need us to rise above. It will need us as members of the committee to rise up. Problem with politics is that we must try to tolerate one another. So when we are being professional and you bring politics, there will be obvious an opposition to that. Because whatever action you take as a person, you must expect an opposition to it. So I really think that This is the 8th province. We've been to all 7 provinces, we have tried, and we will still continue trying. Ours, we are elected by yourselves to Parliament to serve you, and we are trying to do that as much as we can. Let me outline the process. This is the 2nd public hearing here. Tomorrow we've got the last one, and we will be out of this province, going to the last province in the Eastern Cape next week. The views that you have been saying here are going to be debated by us as members of Parliament. That's why you see we are quiet. We want you to talk because our chance to deliberate on these matters is coming. So this bill will be passed or rejected by members of Parliament based on what we are picking up on the road. It's still a process. This is the 8th province. We've had the views of all other provinces. This is the second last. The last one will be Eastern Cape. And then after that, we will consolidate a report we are going to deliberate in, a report that we are going to speak on clause by clause. That's that this bill is about 56 clauses. You can't want to take this bill and make it a bill of a particular clause. You know, we've got 56 clauses to make your contribution to the Department of Basic Education. This is how things you would want to be done. The mistake we are doing now, we are bringing race rather, and it's not really the crux of the matter here. You know, we are bringing race, and some of us have been very tolerated it. Where we made really noise, it's where we can't take it. Because when it's children that are trying, children, all of us, we know we've got children, they are trying, you know, and you would want to make a joke. It can't sit right with any other parent. Because we allowed everybody, and everywhere we were, we allowed everybody to speak. So it is our duty. We are going to speak again as members of the committee, and I think we are going to discuss on the way forward. Do we want to continue this way of thinking that this is an electoral debate, or do we want to try to be professional as much as we can? It's up to us. Political space is our battlefield, all of us. We can manage that space. But the plea would be we try to be very professional when we deal with these matters. Thank you very much to the residents of John Taulo Khaitsiwe. Thank you very much to all of you that have spent the afternoon with us. We have started at 12. We are closing now. We invited you from 12 to 4. We are closing now. We are going to be in Khalishiwe tomorrow. I want to thank everybody, and I must sincerely thank you, MEC, as well. It's rare that the member of the Executive Council would follow us, you know. But we are consistent, and we appreciate your consistency for understanding that it doesn't end in office. You must follow everything that is about your sector. We want to thank the parliamentary staff. You guys are soldiers. Neibambile, Shem. And I know there are also people from the legislature here in the province. We thank you very much. We want to thank all the officials from DPE National and from the education in the province. Our interpreters, hi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our interpreters. But most importantly, without you as residents, we were not going to say that we have successfully held a second public hearing in Northern Cape province. So to our residents, thank you very much, Siyabonga, Rialeboga. Siyabonga, Bayatanki. Thank you so much.